Amari Cooper and Will Davis are two of the four NFL players competing in chess for bragging rights and their part in $100,000 for charity. It's the chess.com BlitzChamps event. It's Winners Bracket Sunday, and it starts right now. A huge hello and welcome to everyone again on this Sunday. International Master Danny Wrench here alongside my good friend John Urschel. John, we had a Saturday. It's Sunday. Are you excited for more BlitzChamps today?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. We had a really exciting day yesterday. Both Group A and Group B had some back and forth matches, and I have to say, I'm really excited to see how each of these four players performs in the winners bracket.
Yeah, I feel like yesterday I had a better idea of what I thought was going to happen today. I'm like, I have no idea what these guys might be capable of. So I'm going to save the preview of that for now, and instead preview and remind everybody of who you are, John. You don't always like it when I
who am I?
Talk so good about you, but you are an amazing individual and an NFL player in your own right. 3 years with the Baltimore Ravens. After being an All-American at Penn State. For those who don't know, now you know. He's an MIT mathematician, a Harvard Junior Fellow currently, and also 1850 rapid here on chess.com. I would argue better than that when you've got your Catalan rolling. Shout out to Georg Meyer and all the Catalan. Is there a hashtag for the Catalan Fellow out there? The Catalan Faithful, John?
Yeah, just hashtag Catalan. I mean, okay. Georg is definitely like one of our leaders, so...
Okay. All right, man. Well, all right. Before we get to today's action and tease you as much as we can about the Catalan repertoire that you have.
Great opening, undefeated opening.
Undefeated, the best opening of all time. Maybe we'll see a Catalan today. We had a Berlin. Will we get a Catalan?
We could. Listen.
I don't know. That seems even more unlikely, but let's remind everybody of how we got here, man. Yesterday was a long day. It was 8 hours plus under the lights, double what a football game would be under those Friday night lights. But we had a lot of fun. Chidobe Awuzie and Amari Cooper both were able to take care of business against the young, maybe future defensive rookie of the year in Kayvon Thibodeau. But then their overtime matchup was all the rage. It was all the talk. It hit live stream fail, John. Just how pumped are you about what happened there, and how fun was that matchup to see?
Oh, it was crazy to see. I mean, just thinking back, that first game of that match between Chido and Amari, there was a delayed bomb cloud. We thought Amari had a great position, and Chido came back and won a game that was really complicated in a really interesting Sicilian. And then game two, technical difficulties rear their head again. Chido pre-moves, knight b1, queen d2, followed by queen c2, and promptly loses.
It's just...
Maybe he might switch to a trackpad today.
Yeah. It was wild. For those who don't know, we spent a lot of time talking trash about Apple and their lack of a right click. But then I watched that clip again, and Amari asks Chido what he does, and then he pre-moves to take advantage of it. The trash talk and sparks were flying back and forth, everybody. If you missed that, definitely do yourself a favor and find the 9-minute full trash talk session between Amari Cooper and Chidobe Awuzie. But okay, that was just Group A. And then we had an entire Group B. I think it's fair to say that, especially early on, the storyline was dominated by the future Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald seemed to be the strongest player, and maybe objectively, was just, he did play the most accurate chess overall. But after he clinched his spot in the winners bracket, it was your boy, Will Davis, stepping in for Micah Parsons at the last second, who just absolutely stole the show with 2 overtime victories, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are the real 2 takeaways from Group B yesterday. Larry really did look like the strongest chess player in terms of making good quality chess moves consistently. But he really did have some issues on the clock. And that's something we were a little concerned about coming in, given his lack of experience in Blitz and Rapid, and that he's more of a correspondence daily game player. He flagged in a completely winning position against Arik, also flagged against Will. And Will's performance yesterday, I mean, what can you say? Losing game 1 in both matches, coming back and winning game 2, and then winning both tie breaks to win both his matches. I mean, it's the definition of clutch. He was in the middle of a Minions movie when he got the phone call.
That's right.
I mean, he's like Batman.
Yeah.
He gets the phone call and he just comes home, gets in front of his computer, and just wins 2 matches in a row.
Eternity says,
it was impressive.
Babe, I got to go. Yeah. I mean, and he answered.
Babe, I gotta go. It's time to do chess.
He did. He showed up and he dominated. What will he do in today's format? Let's remind everybody of the format that remains here on Sunday. The 4 players who punch their ticket to the winner's bracket are the ones competing. And of course, 2 of them will be moving on to the BlitzChamps final. That's right. Now it is winner go home at this point. We're officially in a knockout to take your share of the $100,000 prize. The game scoring is similar to traditional chess. You know it, love it. You watch it here all the time. 1 point for a victory, a half a point for a draw, and 0 for a loss. Time control the same, 10 minutes plus 5 seconds. And again, we will have a blitz tiebreaker should we need it. So, John, you talked about Will winning both his matches in overtime. I think objectively, when we talk about the format, he might be the most comfortable should things go to blitz of anybody still remaining in the field.
That I'm not so sure about. I mean, definitely on his side, but Group A, Amari and Chido, they were playing quickly and confidently. So, I mean, they were playing the rapid like it was blitz. So I'm not so certain that that Will's going to have an advantage in blitz against, let's say, the likes of Chido or Amari. Against Larry, it definitely did show up, I think.
All right, well, we'll see. I agree. Chido and Amari very fast, but we are certain about what these players are playing for, regardless of our lack of certainty on who the real favorite is at this point. That's why we're going to have a ton of fun. We know that we are certain that some of these charities are about to get handsomely rewarded because of the hard work and efforts by their NFL star competing in BlitzChamps. Each one of the players had a chance to sound off and talk about what these respective charities mean to them. And I got to say, of all the major sports organizations that, so many people follow, the fans outside looking in, it always feels like the NFL players have a charity they care about and do a lot of work to. Many of them start their own charities. Many of them pick ones that they're super excited to support. So, John, talk a little bit about that. Your time in the league. How much did you recognize that early on as a young player, and how active the players are in terms of supporting local and national charities?
Yeah, I think it's really important. As an NFL player, you're a role model. You're someone that a lot of people look up to. And I think a lot of players get that. They recognize that they have this platform. It's not forever, and that they should use this to try to help other people. So it's very common for NFL players to either have their own charity or have a number of charities that they work with often. For me, when I was playing, I always had a charity of choice. I would always support Center County Paws. So this is an animal shelter at Penn State that I knew when I went to college there. People who know me know I'm a real animal lover. So that's my usual charity of choice. But everyone usually already has some charity in mind that they either work with or that they started themselves.
I love it. Well, maybe at some point we have an event where you can be competing for that charity again. So many strong players in the NFL that who knows what the future holds with more things like this. People already chirping on social media, wondering why they were left out. We'll get to some of that storyline later today.
I think my invitation might have been lost in the mail.
Yeah, someone's invitation was maybe lost. We'll talk about that later. But these guys didn't have their invitations lost. And as we said, Will Davis had a last minute call that he took the phone and answered to punch his ticket here. We'll talk about his battle with Amari in a second, because they're the ones who are going to be starting things off for us in just about 5 minutes from now. But Larry and Chidobe Awuzie, I feel like this is a battle of stylistic stuff. Let's talk about what that match is going to give us at 2 p.m. Pacific, John. A mature Hall of Famer, seasoned veteran, it seems, both on the board and on the field, versus Chidobe Awuzie, still playing on the field, also very fast. What do you expect from that matchup at 2 before we talk about what's coming up next?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup of styles. Larry, I've noticed, is very methodical, very slow, likes to play safe chess, likes to make sure things are defended, likes to convert an advantage in sort of the simplest, most sort of easy way possible. Whereas Chido plays a lot faster, I think can play some aggressive moves, likes to really sort of bring a little bit of fire to his games. And so I'm going to be curious to see how that matchup works out. And also to see how Larry does on the clock, because Chido, in my opinion, from yesterday, was the fastest player. Yeah. Perhaps Amari, but I think Chido was playing quite quickly. And so we'll see how Larry manages his time today. I'm curious, between yesterday and today, did you give your boy Larry any advice?
It was forced too, because as soon as the show ended, I checked my phone, and he's self-critical. Anyone who watched this show saw his interview where he was just hard on himself, but he's like, man, I don't play enough rapid, don't play enough blitz. I knew the time control was going to get to me, and he was frustrated, but I just reminded him, hey, you're definitely one of the strongest players in the field. Trust yourself and play faster. Definitely gave him a good old-fashioned pep talk. And I think Larry does need to get it done in the rapid portion, because blitz just really didn't seem to be his game. And he acknowledged that when we were texting too. He's like, I just kind of panicked in blitz. I played something I don't know. It kind of the wheels came off there. But I think if he trusts himself, plays a little faster than he did yesterday, he should be in good shape. And we'll see how Larry does against Chido later. But right now we've got the players who are going to be playing next already together. Amari has been here bright and early, spinning in his chair. Will also ready to roll.
They're laughing about something.
Yeah,
we saw a can of cashews. What does it mean? I don't know.
I don't know what that was. I couldn't tell if he was drinking it or if it was the cashews there. But let's talk about this match, right? So Amari won Group A, beating Chido in the tiebreaker, but Will wins 2 tiebreakers to get here. Your thoughts on who the favorite is and why, John?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Amari is obviously the favorite here. Amari played very strong chess yesterday. It was quite impressive. Of course, Chido looked great as well, and Chido had some technical difficulties, but Amari looked really as like perhaps the strongest player that we saw yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know what the cap score sort of said, but I would guess that Amari may have been the most accurate even yesterday.
Yeah,
Will, on the other hand,
he also had a comeback, right? I mean, it was not just that he lost the first game; he was losing to Chido in the second game. Before that blitz, he was losing to Chido in that blitz tiebreaker game after the mouse slip fiasco that is BlitzChamps, right? And then he finds an amazing combination. So, yeah, I mean, the practical skills considered, the time management skills considered, and then the overall, quality of chess, I think Amari does seem like he's the favorite for a reason. But talk about your boy's confidence.
Hey,
Will,
Will
was like talking like it was a foregone conclusion already. He was like, hey, whoever I play in the finals, like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, Will believes in himself. He's ready to go, and he came up clutch yesterday. And so I'm excited to see what he can bring today, to see if he can keep this streak alive.
Yep. All right. Well, he's ready to bring it today. I am told. I think the matches will be starting soon. Shout out to chat. You're ready to bring it today. We see Chess Bra in the chat. What's up, Arik? We know Arik is a big NFL fan, a big John Urschel fan, if we don't say so ourselves.
I mean, I'm a big Eric Hansen fan, so the love is mutual.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Eric Hansen. Shout out to everyone chatting in with us. And thanks for making this a big part of your Sunday, because we have liftoff with E4 on the board from Amari Cooper. Let's go.
All right. E4, E5, and G3, an unusual move by Amari. What do you think about this move, Danny?
I'm surprised, given that we saw a lot of main line kind of theory yesterday from Amari. This is an interesting move.
Yeah, it's going to be curious to see what's on Amari's mind, because the pawn on E4 is sort of blocking this H1A diagonal that clearly he's planning to put the bishop on. And we'll see. Maybe he's trying some sort of King's Indian attack type position. I mean, Amari definitely is the most aggressive of all the players we have today, and maybe he has some attack on his mind.
Well, I was going to say he's also one of the most learned, I guess, studios, right? Chido almost made fun of him for saying he's done 2,000 lessons on chess.com, but it doesn't matter, although then Amari beat Chido. He also has a coach, Shar, shout out to Karate Baby. He works hard on his game. So I don't think Amari would come without a plan. You get what I'm saying? Which is why to play a bit of an odd opening. And the reason we call this odd, everyone, is because of what you're seeing. Will plays the most principled move, which is D5 to open the center. And now he's gained a tempo on the bishop. There's a reason the eval bar, as you see here, already kind of likes black a little bit, because it's a very easy position for black to play. I'm just going to quickly run through how important D5 was, because you can't take it because the queen would have taken. So that means that, Will does the right thing to open the center. And now he's in a great spot, gaining a tempo and already a lead in development here. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's almost no pressure on Will at this point. He can just get his pieces out, put them on good squares, and it looks like a good position. But still, there's a lot of chess to be played. I think this eval bar is a little misleading.
I agree and disagree. Okay, for sure you're right at this level. There's so much chess to be played. But I feel like if Will grabs the center and doesn't look back, this is exactly just such an easy position for Black to play. And White has already moved the bishop 1, 2, and 3 times if we count the retreat to G2. For those just tuning in, by the way, if you're tuning in from the Twitch front page, hit that follow button while you're here. This is BlitzChamps, NFL superstars competing for charity here on the chess channel where the biggest events happen here, twitch.tv/chess. Thanks for being with us. That's such a huge loss at this level. Usually players can develop quickly and take advantage of that kind of time lost. And Will's definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Will is taking his time. I think there's a lot of good moves in this position. Wouldn't you agree? Like there's a lot of natural development. Yep. And I think Will's just taking some time to figure out what setup he wants to adopt. Where does he want to put his pieces? While
he's taking his time, let's actually get to know him a little better. For those who, again, missed the storyline, Will shows up at the last second, answers the bat signal, and then steals the show. He's an NFL quarterback formerly in the league for 4 seasons, competed for the Dolphins and the Raisins, and was John Urschel's teammate, our man here. And in many ways, John, I think, contributed to Will's chess studies and his recommended books. He's 1,000 rated rapid, but the truth is I think he plays much better than that. And he is competing for the Spokane Speed Academy, as he said, it near and dear to him, an academy he worked with when he was training for the NFL and really made strides in his athleticism and kind of prep to be an athlete of the elite level. So he's excited to give back to that particular charity. All right, John, we had to remind everybody who your boy is here and Will. And now I'm getting a little worried about your boy because this is a lot of time to spend on move. Oh wait, so he's moved quickly. I was so busy on analysis there. Now we're all caught up. Look at the live position here. My bad.
Okay, so hold on, no, Danny, you gotta go back. You gotta fill us in on what we missed. I thought Will was just sitting there thinking. Let's go back so I can see what happened.
Yeah, so he did play bishop c5, which is awesome. Okay. He developed quickly, as we said he should. And on d3, plays e4 aggressively. Look at that, by the way. He was going for this tactic with bishop takes f2 to win the queen. What a move. So Will played e4, but Amari plays knight h3, denies the tactic. And then after the capture and trade on d3, Will castles. And again, I love it. I love his style. I love the position. He's all in it. Get jiggy with it.
Yeah, no, he's created this sort of weakness on d3. I guess the benefit that White has is they do have the pair of bishops now, but yeah, this is looking so far so good for Will.
Yeah, and I apologize that I didn't even see how quickly he was moving. I really like the way he's playing, developing accurately. That e4 tactic, again, just to quickly show that, John, that e4 tactic, that was something right there. Playing this move, everybody, to try to take advantage of the potential of bishop takes f2, which is a really high-level deflection sacrifice to remove the king from defending the queen, that was some 5-head chess right there. And obviously Amari didn't fall for it, but I think that really shows you that Will Davis is not playing at a 1,000 rapid level here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a number of strong moves from him yesterday and today, even recognizing this idea of, going d5, striking in the center when he sees sort of this like slow g3 idea. Will clearly understand some of the key ideas in this position. And I think he's sort of making moves that the position calls for. So it's great to see this.
All right. Well, again, now he actually is on the opportunity to think. It's Amari Cooper who's on the clock, and so while he is, let's also check in with Amari's bio. Known throughout the league, he's a Pro Bowler. He just recently joined the Cleveland Browns from the Dallas Cowboys. Wide receiver, and he started playing chess seriously with the Raiders. He shared his story a few times and continues to play both with the Cowboys and now, of course, with the Browns. 1166 rapid rating, and probably the most dominant player in the field so far. I think it's very close, but Amari has been impressive. He works super hard. He's done every chess.com lesson that he can get his hands on, and he's competing for the Barnyard charity that means a lot to him, gives back to kids in a lot of different ways. So there you go. A little more about Amari Cooper and what he's playing for in BlitzChamps.
Yeah, thanks for that, Danny. So he's still thinking, what do you think Amari should do in this position? What options do we have? And he goes for knight a4, trying to put pressure on the bishop on c5. Okay.
Yeah, this is a good move, right? Because it gains a tempo, but it's also potentially a very bad move if that knight stays on the edge of the board. Again, good basic lesson. The knights on the rim are grim. Their chances are very slim. I could keep rhyming if you want me to. Never mind.
I think you've done enough.
I've done my job. Okay.
You've done your job. You've done your job. So he plays knight a4, and this is
that's a nice move.
Question. Yeah. I mean, I think this is the question we're all asking ourselves. What happens after knight takes d3?
Black has won a pawn and defends the bishop. So first of all, just heads up play by Will. It's a little risky, right? Because now you've got all your pieces in a spot where they have to defend each other. You know, white can do things like bishop f5 to attack the bishop. If I was white, I might even consider kind of an odd move. Although, wait, maybe there's crazy tactics on f2, so take that back. I don't know that Will would see that, but you know, that's an interesting position. White can even take on c5 and have the bishop pair despite being down a pawn. So I kind of agree with the engine eval bar coming a little back to equal there, even though Black is up a pawn. I think that White's position is going to be certainly a playable one, especially in the open board with bishops.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely a lot of tension here, pressure on the bishop on c5, which the knight is defending. And, you know, a move you suggested, let's say bishop f5. I'm not sure if Will is going to see this idea on f2.
Yeah, he can also take c1, I guess. So that
this is true. Yeah.
I think if we analyze it real quick, I actually think that bishop to g5 is a move that runs more into the tactic, right? There's now there's like things on f2, because at the end of this there's a fork on e4, whether the queens were traded or not. So I think my initial suggestion was a blunder, but bishop f5, you don't have to take f2. You can even just take here, and I think you're probably in an okay spot. So okay, what you think?
Yeah, it's not clear to me. Yeah, it's not obvious. This is getting a little complicated, and I think Amari's taking his time trying to see if there's something in this position. Of course, it's easy for us. You know, we have this eval bar. We can just say, oh, everything's equal. But when you're playing and you have a position like this, you have a bishop that's only being defended by a knight that is sort of like only being singly defended by the queen. You really start to ask yourself questions like, you know, can I try to win a piece here? Am I winning material? And I think it makes sense to invest some time to try to see if he can find, if not a knockout, a move that makes Will's life very difficult.
Yeah, I'm with you. And also Amari's struggling too, right? He's taking his time. He was up on the clock moments ago by almost a couple minutes, and now is down by 30 seconds and ultimately kind of settles on a move queen f3. I like that move, by the way, for a couple of reasons. It hits b7. It also threatens rook d1. So even though the computer's like, yeah, with best play, Black is better here, that's a very tricky move by Amari. And it really does kind of poke at the fact that all of Black's pieces are sort of tender right now. One move and that eval bar slides the opposite direction up the board. So we'll see what Will comes up with right here.
Yeah, on rook d1, maybe there's a capture on f2 that works, like maybe bishop takes.
Okay, that's true too. f2 is still tender. You're right.
Yeah, f2 is still tender, but I don't know. You'd have to. I would definitely need some time to calculate that.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the fact that you reminded me of f2 means it is a little bit harder for Amari than I even realized. To the point where, can he even like safeguard the bishop? If he wants to, he could maybe just make a big trade on c1. I agree with Robert Hess in chat. Overall, Black's piece is way more coordinated. By the way, shout out to everybody in chat. Mis amigos, I see you, Rappy Roo. Give us good questions and comments. Your comments might be featured on the show throughout the day. So play along with us, and you might see your comments read read alive. Wow, I just said read alive. I think I just TM'd that. That sounds really good.
Read alive.
Read alive.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It's a t-shirt. Read alive. Mis amigos. All right. Queen D4.
Queen D4. So hitting the knight on A4.
Yeah, I like it. I love it.
Yeah, so you don't want to play something like bishop E3 or something. That would not be ideal.
Yeah, good call. Bishop E3 exactly. Would hang the knight.
Would hang the knight.
You could take.
Definitely an option.
In fact, taking and then bishop E3 is maybe the best. Speaking of featured chat, as we just said, we have a question about bishop E3 right now. So well timed.
Okay. Takes.
I'm just going to answer it by moving forward into the future here from Dead Zoa there. I think bishop E3 is a great idea, and it is a candidate move. And right now, regardless of how black takes on C5, bishop E3 is an option. So definitely.
Yeah, and Will's taking some time here. Takes with the knight. And they're back. They're roughly even on time now. Will was really going into the tank a little bit, but I think he's posed some problems for Amari. And Amari's starting to take some time too. So rook D1.
Yeah.
Reasonable move.
And this is
getting the rook on an open file. Pressure on F2 is kind of dissipated a little bit.
Yep.
This makes sense.
And here comes a developing move with the bishop next, whether it's to E3 or G5. Mis amigos, we see it. That was my only worry, because I agreed with Robert that in that setup the pieces were ideal, but one move like Queen D4, an open board position, just the tactics, especially at this level, tend to favor the bishops, right? And so this is going to be scary if both players get under time pressure and Amari has the bishops. Will has to be very careful. Yeah,
here I was saying maybe you think about some trades, like maybe you try to go Queen E4, but Will goes for Queen C4.
I think you're right. By the way, chat, you were right. Black couldn't take with the queen because the knight was hanging, so good call. Anyway, but bishop G5, Amari develops, and you see why this position is full of tactical compensation. Black is up a pawn, but the computer likes white. That's just, now here comes the move Rook C1. Oh man, this is starting to get really scary for Will.
Yeah, this is looking quite dangerous. How do you hold everything together here? What do you do? Maybe Queen A6 was an idea. Okay, goes knight E4. That's
a good move. It attacks the bishop. Yeah. Karpov would be proud of the knights defending each other.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess. Yeah, but it still looks difficult. Like maybe white tries some things like, a well-timed Rook C1. Well, maybe Bishop E7 first.
Yep.
And then Rook C1, and things are looking a little scary here.
Yeah.
Rook C1 first, 90, I don't know about.
94. Oh, Rook C1, he misses the knight takes G5 can be played. Because if you take the queen, black wins the queen with check. And everything gets... Oh, and he sees it. Will finds knight G5. The script is flipped again. Will Davis.
Will just keeps coming up. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. And I remember, like, at the end of Group B, we were talking about what does Will need to do to win this tournament? He needs to take his chances when he gets them. And he got his first chance.
Yep.
And he found it within seconds.
Dude, you said it yesterday. Got to give credit where credit's due. I said, what does Will need to do to win? And you said he's got to be opportunistic, right? Because he's playing strong players, maybe objectively better players as far as overall chess knowledge. But when he gets his opportunities, he can't miss them. And I think this is exactly the kind of opportunity that John Urschel was prophesizing. You win a piece, you see a tactic with check that Amari misses, and just like that, you're once again winning. And by the way, this is still not over. I think when you've got this kind of coordination, yeah, good move from Amari, I think, just to keep the pieces on the board. But you got to give credit to Will for not missing that tactical shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there's still a lot of game left, and this still looks quite complicated. White is threatening. Yeah, great move by Will. Taking with check, recognizing that if he just moves his queen and never captures on H3, there might be some double attack on both of the knights.
Yep.
Yeah, so great move.
Wow. Oh, man, this is... Will Davis shows up, Batman, right? Leaves the Minions movie. Yeah. Is he going to continue to turn heads and show that he should have been given that A-list invite all along?
Exactly. But this is looking difficult because, okay, already after Queen B5, ideas like Rook D5 or Queen F5. I was looking at the idea of playing Queen B4 instead of B5 to avoid this pin, but
I think black is still okay, luckily, because B6 is kind of always available, right, to defend the knight. And I think because of that, the knight is more solid than it looks. But I agree. Queen F5 and Rook D5 are both scary moves whenever there's a pin, which means a piece can't move without losing the piece behind it. For those who don't speak chess 101, that's a pin for the win. But Will can play B6, and he should still be okay to defend the knight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Speaking of people just tuning in, we got 14,000 of you. Shout out if you're tuning in from Twitch front page. Hit the follow button for the biggest events in chess. Not just chess players, not just chess pros playing here. We've got NFL stars who are also chess players, and a lot of money up for grabs on this Sunday. So thanks for tuning in. And
Will finds B6, which is good.
B6 defends the knight. Will finds it.
Yeah.
And
all right, so let's start thinking like Hikaru now. How do we find a way to make Will go wrong? I don't want to do it.
How do we blunder?
But how do we blunder?
The more you look at White's pieces, the more you feel confident that Will is in a good spot, because often a blunderable position, to speak Hikaru, are positions, where there's checks, where there's pieces that are undefended. You just look at it and you say, like, where's there a chance to go wrong? I love that move, Rook D8 from Will. There's much more of a chance for White to go wrong with this king, right? With the rooks, with the queen out of play, than there is for Black. So I think Will is in really good shape right now, and he's up on the clock again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. Rook H5, a move born out of desperation, putting pressure on H7.
Well,
but now maybe you go Rook D1, and there's...
Yeah, that's...
I don't know how you're dealing with this.
It's not mate.
Rook D1 and Queen C...
Queen F1.
Yeah, but...
No, I mean, it's not mate, but it borderline might as well be. Oh, he didn't see it. He plays Queen C6 because he wants Rook D1 to be checkmate. Oh, sneaky man. I love that.
Yeah, that's actually a really sneaky move.
That's actually really sneaky.
Amari could easily just play Rook takes H7 here.
Well, no, he shouldn't. No, if he plays Rook H8,
but he could easily just play this move without...
Oh, I see. Okay, yes.
So, no, there's...
Objectively, Will should have played Rook D1 check and Queen F1, but the reason Will did this, everyone, is because of that checkmate threat. Mm-hmm. And now he has to deal with H7, so we'll see how Will does that.
Mm-hmm. H6. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, nice little move there from Amari, pointing out the pin. Actually, I don't see exactly what Black does on that.
Yeah, I'm looking. I've been looking. I'm yet to find anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could play... What is it? No, if Queen E6, you can take... by the way, Black is probably still winning in that rook ending, but that's not what you want if you're Will.
Yeah. Also, that's hard to evaluate.
Yeah, he plays Rook D5, which is going to, to win the pawn, but this game just got equal very quickly, and again, objectively, Will might have missed his best chance earlier going for that trick, and so now we might be headed for a rook ending where he kind of has to win it all over again with the extra pawns. Yeah. Also
a heads-up play by Amari, recognizing the pin. Defending against the threat, and then recognizing the pin. I mean, this is... We're definitely seeing some high-level chess. Like, this is not 1,000, 1,100 level chess.
Yeah, I agree. This is super high-quality chess. And we'll see what Will does here. Does he take H5 or does he take C5? Okay, now White is really going to, I think, be getting back into it, because after takes, now when you take C5, White can win the pawn, and that is not an easy rook ending to win, especially with only a minute and a half on your clock.
Yeah, perhaps better was a move like Rook FD8, because you can't actually take on B6, and you're sort of increasing pressure threatening some rook d1, and he goes b5.
That's an interesting move. That's a really good move, actually. Going to create this 2-on-1, 2 pawns versus 1.
Yeah, I suppose so. It also gives you more chance to go wrong.
Yeah, it does with the pawn on c5, but I also think that unless Will neglects his king side here, John, like Amari comes in and he does something tactically neglectful. Okay, I like this move too. Get the rooks off the board, and you're really not going to blow the game. I think that he's in a pretty good spot here because there's always chances for draws in queen endings, but he's really not in a spot where I think he can lose the game.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting game so far. I mean, I don't know about you, but we were talking about this pregame.
Yeah,
this is not what we were expecting to see.
Yeah, it's true. Look at them. They're using their clock. And for those who didn't watch Amari versus Chido yesterday, it was like they forgot they had 10 minutes. It was moving so fast. These guys are using their time. They're being super deliberate. Look at this. If you put this on the board and said Wesley So white, Hikaru Nakamura black, would you think anything of it?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a grandmaster game here. These guys are playing some high quality chess. Amari now picking up the pace a little bit. Right as I was just going to ask, will Will find b4? He does. What a strong move this is.
Yeah. And now there's ideas like queen e1 and bringing the queen to c3, just escorting that pawn down the board.
The reason we applaud that, everyone, this is called a protected pass pawn, which means a pawn is protected by a pawn. That's a very, very strong asset in an endgame because if this queen ever gets lost in the wilderness, this pawn is going to queen. And it's very hard to get rid of it because it's so well protected. So Will is really, really playing well right now.
Tough here. Yeah. Okay. But giving some checks, forcing Will to push one of his pawns.
Gives checks and g6.
G6. Yeah.
Okay. F7's hanging. Oh, and he misses it.
Ooh.
Queen c3.
All right, but
he's still okay. But that's okay.
But it just got tougher. Yeah.
It's a big shot because now you can never leave your king without there being very real chances of a perpetual. That just made his life a lot harder. Oh man.
Is he going to see?
Uh-oh.
And this could be a draw.
Well, it could be a draw unless Amari goes for too much. Objectively here, Amari probably should just check and accept the peaceful result, everyone, back and forth. That's called a perpetual check when you can't escape. But if Amari starts pawn grabbing, all bets are off. Right? This is an all-out race, right? Black wants a queen, white wants a queen. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. He's thinking about it. Danny, what do you think he's going to do?
I don't know. I think he's thinking about it. I think he's taking the draw.
Oh, he's going to take the draw.
Yeah, looking at the clock situation.
Yeah, he's taking the draw.
Like a grandmaster, he's going to be smart and say, you know what? That's why this is the winner's bracket, because we make smart decisions here in BlitzChamps, and I'm going to push this thing to a game 2. What an awesome, awesome game there. We can quickly review those final moments and probably show what would have happened before game 2 begins if white had gone for something like this. It's probably still a draw because there's no way for black to stop this move. But just to show, if you get too crazy, this is why the eval bar is switching. If you get too crazy and this king somehow escapes, as scary as that is, black is in a much easier position to advance the pawn than white is. And so that could have been a recipe for disaster. And so something like this would show you why Amari Cooper, eventually you run out of checks, something like this, the queen blocks it. I'm going along down the road, but this is actually very likely. If you had started taking the pawns, if you were Amari Cooper, this is how you lose the game. Eventually the king has a shield, and this pawn beats white's pawn in the foot race here. And that's a huge tip of the cap, if you will, golf clap to Amari Cooper for making that very mature decision to just accept the perpetual check here, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was an interesting back and forth game. First, this sort of a little passive opening by Amari. Will really takes advantage of it with this idea of d5 and then pushing his e-pawn as well, getting good pressure.
Yeah.
But then Amari really really seemed to have, a dangerous looking position with the two bishops. Things looked like they might have been a little loose for Will, but man, Will saw the tactic as soon as it showed up on the board, and he almost converted. Let's see if that comes back to bite him.
Yep, and now we've got game 2 on the board. A Petrov, by the way, so not a Berlin, but this is high quality chess. Almost 17,000 of you. I want to be screaming, are you not entertained right now? This is a Pro Bowl NFL wide receiver going up against a guy who played in the league on the other side for defense as a cornerback for 4 years. But look at this chat. Oh, he's playing a Stafford Gambit.
Oh, wow.
Dude, does he know this from Eric Rosen?
Yeah, I was about to say, where's Eric Rosen when you need him?
Okay, if Amari Cooper wins with a Stafford Gambit, we are never going to hear the end of it from Eric Rosen. So everybody send a prayer up to whatever metaphysical overlord that you believe in and hope that Black doesn't win this game with a Stafford Gambit, because I can't take it from Eric Rosen.
All right, Danny, you got to help me out here. I'm not an E4 player. I haven't been for a long time. What's the ideas here? What is Black trying to do?
Okay.
What's the idea? And how does White sort of maintain
this? Is the best move, but now here's how dangerous it is on Bishop C5. White has to find and know the move H3. You can, Queen E2 is also possible, but that's a very awkward move to block the bishop.
Oh, wow. What?
Will knows the theory and plays H3? What is going on here? This is crazy, man. So these guys knowing their Stafford game. So the idea is if you make some sort of random move with Stafford. So I'll analyze it. I'll play like D3, for example, right? Like immediately the knight comes to G4 and the game is almost over. Even if you play a move like bishop to E2, trying to get out of it, Black has queen to D4. And if you castle in this position, Black is already in a position to regain the pawn safely. And actually is doing just fine in a lot of these positions. So there's all kinds of ways for this game to go wrong. E5 is actually not the best move. Black can play queen d4 now with a double attack. So after finding the best move with h3, Will plays e5.
Yeah, Will neglecting his development a little bit, but Amari does not see it either. And now a move like d4, and he plays it instantly. Taking
Very
control of the center
from Will Davis.
Yeah, supporting the pawn on e5. And now I'm ready to see some development. I don't know about you.
I think Will's position is much better. Let's bring up the analysis board one more time, because I want to make a point that this isn't the first time Will was prophylactically thinking about a knight coming here. For those who are maybe surprised that he played h3, Will played h6. Remember, John, in yesterday's battle versus Larry, when Larry played the Italian, remember? And he was worried about the potential liver.
He didn't play knight f6. He didn't play bishop c5. He went
exactly.
h6. Yeah, you're right.
At first, I was like, oh my God, does this guy just know the Stafford Gambit theory? But no, I think he actually is a very smart, defensive-minded player. Hashtag cornerback in the NFL, right? Cringe reference you didn't see coming. Take that, John Urschel. That's what a cornerback does.
That one. Yeah,
a cornerback plays defense, man.
Also, I mean, it's just great pattern recognition, because it really is a similar looking position. It's not knight on f3, bishop c4. He has a different, he has the different colored pieces, but he recognizes these pieces on these squares with these ideas, and he plays h3. Yeah.
No, huge stuff. So, all right, we'll get back to the live position where we still have a lot of chess left here, but yeah, it's pattern recognition. It's awesome chess here from Will Davis. Still lots of games ahead today, and lots of play in this particular game. But I'm just really impressed with Will's. We call that in chess, we call that prophylactic thinking, defensive-minded thinking, preventing your opponent's threats before they're even a threat. Really high-quality stuff.
All right, and Will's thinking because the d4 pawn is under some pressure, but I guess you can just go bishop e3. Well, no, it's how are you defending this pawn? Because bishop e3, if bishop takes d4, I guess you have g3, but there's always bishop takes c3 check. So how are you defending this pawn?
I think if bishop e3, Black can take.
Yeah.
I think the best move is actually knight e4, because there's two threats. One, you block the queen from taking, and the second threat you have is bishop g5, trapping the queen where she stands.
Oh, if Will finds knight e4, I'm just going to be
Yeah, just like
I'm going to change my prediction.
Rip the mic off and walk out. Just like, all right, we're not worthy. Not worthy. Yeah. This is a really tough spot, but 94, I think, is the key point. And by the way, let's bring up the analysis board to show another really interesting point about 94. It works because after 94, if bishop takes d4, the knight also still guards f2, so there's no checkmate. So you can play bishop g5 and trap the queen, and on a move like this, you just move the king, and the queen has run out of squares. So Will might find 94, I think, I'm not trying to disparage in any way, like maybe by the grace of the chess world, that he kind of just sees one idea. I doubt calculating that full combo where you can sacrifice. He played 94.
Just wait.
Where you can sacrifice f2 and trap the queen. I'm just like,
what would you do if Amari plays bishop takes d4 and Will plays bishop g5 on the spot? What would you do?
Right now, I'm not going to do anything. He plays bishop g5. Oh my god!
It's on the board.
Dude,
the queen is trapped.
And if bishop takes f2, king f1. Oh my gosh!
If he plays king f1 after bishop takes f2.
I just saw someone in chat say 6 head, not even 5 head. Okay, bishop takes f2.
Here's the moment.
First of all, great tactics by Amari, seeing that's the right chance. But if Will plays king f1, did he stumble into this, or did he
if
just
he plays
play
king
f1?
If he plays king f1, I mean, I need to watch out because Will's coming for me next. Clearly, this is not an 1100 player.
He's taking his time,
and he thinking it through. Okay. This was a hard idea to see.
Oh, he took f2. Oh man, that changes everything about the combo. That's so heartbreaking for Will.
Yeah.
As chat is screaming, this guy is insanely good, and he is good.
He is.
But let's bring back the analysis board. We got to show that real quick. Again, final moment. Will uncorks the brilliant way to hold the advantage with white, but it all depends on whether you spot that you have to play king f1 to keep the queen trapped. Mm-hmm. Instead, he takes with the knight, lets the queen out, and the eval bar flips to the other side with black having an advantage. But this is wild chess. To see NFL players on this stage playing, this is a seriously high quality brand of chess. I don't think any of these guys could get an invite to BlitzChamps. John, I can't do it.
They'd win it outright.
I think they dominate the whole field at this point.
Yeah, Amaranth would have no chance. That'd be game over.
Amaranth has never gotten an invite to BlitzChamps. I mean,
she didn't play BlitzChamps?
No.
Oh, I don't know why.
We offered a hot tub chess stream. She wasn't into it.
I thought she played chess. Yeah, I guess I thought she
Amaranth played in Alexander's event, the bullet event, the Botez bullet event.
Okay, gotcha.
And there may be a future hot tub chess stream, whether Amaranth joins or not.
Gotcha. And the question is, am I invited? Am I invited to your hot tub stream?
Are you? You can join. You want to be at a hot tub stream with me?
Yeah, I want an invitation to you.
Dude, let's do it. Hot tub stream. Me, you, Robert Hess. We'll invite Amaranth.
Perfect.
We'll see what happens. Okay, jokes aside, Amaranth does play chess. She played in Botez event, and I think these guys would be all over a BlitzChamps field. We see featured chat getting involved in the fun. And
and Amari is playing for tactics here. The knight's pinned, and he plays a quick f5.
Dude, I was just blown away by Will finding that, and now I'm heartbroken that he just was one move away for Will. But also, huge shout out to Amari for finding all the tactics there. These guys are so good.
Looking good. Amari's going to take on e4, probably castle long. And how do you make complications in this position? It's going to start looking tough. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting tough for Will here. Man, Amari
will capture fairly quickly. And also, look at the difference on the clock.
Yeah.
Amari still has 9 minutes left to Will's 4, and his position looks quite good.
That's the only.
There is some traffic on the e-file, though, so maybe, if Amari's not too careful, maybe a rook to e1, and you can hope for something.
It's true. There's a lot of pieces stacked there. But I think you made a great point that Will play this awesome series of moves, but unfortunately burned a lot of time on the clock to see it, right? Which is what you would advise a student to do, like think it through. But because he was unable to fully deliver the goods, right? The crescendo was not there at the end of the combo, which means now he's losing on the board and down on the clock.
Yeah, and Amari castles long, which was expected. And now maybe, what do you do? Maybe you think about bringing a rook to e1, playing for some tricks. I'm trying to think up tricks here.
Yeah. How many tricks?
Yeah.
How many tricks can you have? You can play rook e1. I like bishop takes c6 at some point.
Okay.
I mean, again, not because it's winning. I'm answering the call of what you said about tricks, right? Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and then queen takes does blow open the black king side.
Yeah. Well, the second idea, and queen c5
with check
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I was hoping for maybe a queen a3 at some point, putting pressure on a7, but now Amari's defending that square, and
yep,
rook f8.
Rook f8, a great move from Amari. When you're winning, trade pieces, get them off the board. Makes your job easier for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, he's up a piece, he's up a pawn, and his pieces are a tiny bit awkward. You have this opposite side castling, and I think trading your less developed pieces for your opponent's more developed pieces, especially when you're up on material, makes a ton of sense. He's not trading away active pieces. He's getting his pieces involved and getting rid of them. So I quite like this move. Maybe you follow up at some point with bishop d5, putting it on a more active diagonal, forcing further trades. Yeah, this... unfortunately, this could be the end of Will's run.
Yeah, and because the first game ended in a draw, either player winning this would send the other home. 1.5 out of 2 would take the cake and punch your ticket to a BlitzChamps final versus, either Larry Fitzgerald or Chidobe Awuzie. So if you're just tuning in, that's what's going down here. Hit the follow button for us. Thank you for the subscriptions, by the way. We've seen people throwing us their Prime. We do appreciate it. John appreciates every time you throw your Prime. That's his favorite thing, actually.
I love it.
Shout out to the boys on Amazon Prime. Do you watch that show? That's crazy.
Oh, I love that show. I've been watching it. See, now these are some references I'm going to understand. Did you see the last episode? I just watched it. I watched it Friday night.
I didn't watch it, so no spoilers. Don't talk about it.
Spoiler free. Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, but thank you for the follows, the Prime, all the love. We do appreciate it, jokes aside. And here comes bishop c4. If Amari sees this, I think Will is, oh man, really getting down. Okay, surviving for now. No
rook
bishop
f8
c4.
also makes a lot of sense. Yeah, perfectly reasonable. Amari is still doing great on time, and Will only has 2 minutes left. This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, rook f8. Offers another trade. Will runs away. This is smart. You've got to keep pieces on the board, and you only have 2 minutes on the clock. So it's going to take a blunder. But hey, we've seen it before, right? We've seen blunders.
There's a little bit of a back rank mate setup here. So there's something to hope for. If this knight stays on d7, the rook tries to come to the second rank.
Right.
Bishop takes on a2. There's who knows. I'm just trying to play. I'm trying to play hope chess for my friend right now.
Well, I'm going to give kudos to Amari, and obviously we always hope it's a wild match, but this has been a really great performance. He did get pretty lucky there that Will didn't play, as we said, the final move in that combo, but ever since then he's been dominant. He's also way up on the clock, so he would be a deserved winner if somehow he holds on and moves on to the final. But what's he do now? This is also good time management, John. You got to give him credit, right? He's not rushing ahead, recognizes that he's got some minutes to think this thing through.
Absolutely. But there's, what can we do here? I'm trying to find tactics, and I really don't see any here. Like, yes, there's a discovery on the bishop, but I don't even see how you make use of it.
Yeah.
I'm finding a hard time to even come up with tactics.
Oh man, I'm with you. Okay, the pawn is hanging, and the one thing is this. So while black is totally winning and it's an extra knight, you know, coordinating that knight in the middle of the board with tactics can sometimes lead to blunders. So Amari finds a good move here, but let's say the queen moves to safety as long as Will moves quickly enough. I think there's still chances things could get a little spicy. I'll paint a picture for you real quick with some analysis. You want that? Here's a little picture. Queen to G3, and Amari says, "Oh, we'll get the queens off the board." And after takes, suddenly there's ideas like this. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a trade. What's up with that?" Right? There you go. And by the way, you think I'm crazy. That's actually not a crazy idea. You could even take here. And if Amari says, "Oh, I'll trade you pawn for pawn, pound for pound," once again. So
no, you're not crazy. I mean, I've been hoping for this sort of like knight d7 back rank idea to show up.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Will didn't go to G3, which I think was a really good way to sort of, bait this idea, right? Jebaited on Queen F2. Unfortunately, now I see a harder time for that happening. And in fact, the most logical thing for Amari to do is start activating that extra pony. But okay, there was a chance.
Yeah, no, there was a chance. And let's see, Amari's taking his time. Will at this point is just functionally playing blitz. Only a minute and 30 seconds left. Also, can we talk about that? Why is this called BlitzChamps when they're playing rapid games?
Because
what's going on there?
In the NFL, you blitz the quarterback and you blitz on D. Like yesterday, we had so many questions. Like, why is this called BlitzChamps? Like, chess community, guys, this is bigger than the chess community. This is an NFL event where these guys are calling for blitz. You're blitzing.
You've never seen me rap at the quarterback? Never seen that?
I've never seen anyone rap at the quarterback. Have you ever classicaled the quarterback? Have you ever bullet the quarterback? I hope not.
Many times.
Okay. So it's called BlitzChamps because it's a direct reference to the blitz in NFL, baby.
All
and I think it's a brilliant pun.
Okay. I support it.
Thank you, sir. All right.
No, and we've got a really... All right, and they're trading
queens are off.
This is looking good for Amari.
Yep.
Are we going to see a Browns victory right now?
Yeah, people saying go Browns. We see you, go Browns. It might be the biggest victory they get all year. Am I right? Biggest victory for the Browns coming right now with Amari Cooper winning BlitzChamps. Don't LMAO about me trying to explain football. I happen to know a lot about football and the process of dunking, the hoop through the home run for the record.
You go.
Okay. All right, let's focus, team, because this is Amari Cooper's chance to get the Browns that big victory. If the rook comes to F1 with check and these towers of power exit, I think it's really a game over. But he doesn't do it yet. So as long as the rooks are on the board, Will has a chance, I think.
Yeah. I'm a little less sure of that, especially looking at the clock situation. But I've been wrong before. I have been wrong before. Rook
very rarely. You're a mathematician. I just let you know that's who you are. You're not that you're defined by your success. You are amazing because of who you are, regardless. But you're also a mathematician.
This is true.
All right, rook to D4 played. I actually think this game still has a lot of life to it. The fact that Amari missed his chance to take the rooks off the board. Oh, and right as I say it, commentator's curse. He finds a way to get them off. Oh, man. That's a big-time move from Amari Cooper, the 4-time Pro Bowler.
All right, Will's playing B3, defending his pawn on A2, but this is looking difficult because now you got to trade the bishop off. There's nowhere to put it.
Fantastic technique from Amari Cooper. Who, for those who don't know, Amari has been the most adamant, actively involved behind the scenes with us for several months now, really wanted to make this event happen, has done more than 2,000 lessons on chess.com. So again, Will is awesome. He answered the call and showed up to be here. And I'm not saying this is over, but more than likely, it seems like Amari Cooper will be showing just why he wanted this event to happen so badly, because he's damn good at chess. I'm just going to say it. Amari Cooper is damn good at chess. He's not just a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
Yeah, Amari is very good at chess, but let's not forget, Will was one king move away from being a piece up in this game. And that not seeing that tactic all the way through. What?
Not just a piece up, a queen up.
Yeah, queen up. Yeah. The best piece. No, not seeing that tactic through was the difference in this game.
Yep. No, you're totally right. And all these guys have been great. The level of chess here, I mean, sometimes people think these celebrity events are for show. How much do these guys really love chess and know the game? Well, I think that the critics are being silenced because it's been a super high quality brand of chess. And 2,000 lessons. I see chat asking. You can check out his profile. Dude works hard on the game. So for 21,000 of you tuning in, hit the follow button. Thanks for being here. And this is not going to be the last event we do for NFL players too. So mark our words. It's a lot of fun.
And yeah, Amari taking his time, taking off these pawns. And when Will has none left, he's going to make a queen.
Yeah, oh man, taking off his hat, kind of like, oh man, this got away from me.
It's starting to sink in for Will. Maybe he's thinking about resigning. Maybe not quite yet.
I mean, we'll have to ask him about that bishop takes f2 moment. It's a specific chess question, but we definitely got to ask him if he saw that, or obviously he didn't. But that was a really tough spot. And the ultimate.
I'm going to be curious to ask him. I want to ask him about this knight e4 idea, and if he recognized he was trapping the queen.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see. Because knight e4 was a strong move.
Yeah, super strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was the winning combination.
All right, Will is trying to play
for stalemate. Stranger things could happen. By the way, shout out to the 2-hour+ season finale for Stranger Things 4. Oh my God, it's like, get over yourselves. Make the finale an hour and then bring another season on. Come on, Netflix. That was ridiculous. Sorry, I blacked out a little bit.
I'll forgive you. Are you a big Stranger Things fan? Like, that's your type of show?
Not every season, hit and miss. My kid, my oldest son really loves it. So,
okay, I can respect it.
I just think it was unnecessary.
All right, how do you? We see we have some conditions useful for stalemate.
Yes, this is not an unstalateable.
Yeah, Amari's just interested in making another queen.
Yeah. Stalemate vibes incoming from Twitch chat here. It's every queen you get, the more you risk
King f2. No, I don't know. How do you try to get stalemate here?
Yeah, now it's hard because you walked into a check.
Every move is going to be a check.
By the way, if he had timed his king being on h4 here, John, that's stalemate.
Oh, that would have been amazing,
dude. If he had gone the other way instead of in this way.
That would have been
a real chance.
Right there. Yeah. I didn't even see that idea. That was great.
Well, now all Amari has to do is check. If you just literally keep checking, you're going to check yourself into a checkmate. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately for Will, I think his last chance was putting the king in the corner pocket, as they say, and hoping for a stalemate.
Yeah. And at this point, you can just sort of, what is this called? Pushing the lawnmower mate.
Yeah. Spam this 8 to induce stalemate. There you go. Okay. All Amari has to do is give another check. You never know. And he does.
Yeah.
And just like that, game. Amari Cooper moving on to the finals match in our first ever BlitzChamps tournament. And Will Davis, what a day he had yesterday. What an event he's had, showing up, takes home 15 grand to his charity, the Spokane Speed Academy. So awesome stuff, and good for him. I think again, it all comes down to what happened earlier in this game. By the way, John,
can we go back to this key moment?
Yeah, we're doing that.
This knight e4 idea.
The Stafford Gambit, refuted by Will Davis. And for the record, knight e4 was the only way to maintain the advantage. You were right, John. Now that we're here and I see the engine, if bishop e3 was played, you could just take and black was good. So knight e4 was key. And after bishop d4, you trap the queen. But it only works if you find the move king to f1. Oh, heartache break.
Yeah, I was just incredibly impressed that he found this knight e4 idea. I didn't even like trapping the queen there was not even on my radar. And I think that, that already sort of shows some strength. But this is what happens sometimes. You see an idea, you think you have something worked out, and then all of a sudden your opponent plays a move you weren't ready for. Something like bishop takes f2, and you didn't calculate it. And things might still work out, but all of a sudden you see a move you didn't calculate, and you start to panic. And you start to think quickly, and you start to not take your time, sit back, and understand that you can take your time here and figure things out. And, I think Will may have panicked a little bit here, and knight f2 may have been a little hasty.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, the move bishop takes f2, as you said, not seen ahead of time, not able to find king f1, and that was the reason Will went on to lose this game. And that's the reason, as we look at the bracket here and talk about that matchup, Amari Cooper moves on with 1.5 out of 2 over Will Davis here in our first semifinal for BlitzChamps Sunday. Man, again, we'll miss the opportunity. Let's talk a little bit, though, about Amari Cooper, right? Because obviously, if neither of them saw king f1, the resourcefulness, the fact that he was playing so quickly, ultimately super key. And Amari looks like the man to beat right now, John.
Yeah, it's unclear, I have to say. Amari's going through, but when I look back at those two games, I mean, it's neck and neck. I mean, think about game 1. Will's completely winning, up, 3 pawns, maybe 4 pawns at some point, and blunders into that perpetual check.
Yeah.
Only gets a half a point off the first game.
Okay, that's fair.
Then what decided the second game? This one sharp tactic, recognizing this idea. And if anything, what I take away from that first match is just how close all these players are. Because before we started looking at the games today, at the end of the day yesterday, the questions I was asking myself is how will the players from Group B match up against the players from Group A? Right. And I really had my doubts. And I got to say, I was incredibly impressed by how Will played, and I think it really could have gone either way.
That's super fair. I think, obviously, just instantly talking about the guy who punched his ticket, game 1 was Will Davis's game until he blundered f7, right? And then blundered the perpetual. Game 2, the Stafford Gambit isn't really the credit. Take that, Arik Rosen. Don't get any ideas out there, Arik Rosen. The Stafford Gambit's got nothing to do with it. You heard it right here. Clip it and ship it, Arik Rosen. No, I mean, but seriously, Black was losing.
Yeah.
And Will doesn't find the move. So I still think that either way, you look at the scoreboard, and we have to give Amari Cooper credit. That said, it's fair. I hear what you're saying. I mean, I see chat now saying a lot of people feel like Larry's still the favorite. Larry Larry with the whatever that.
I still think Chido's the favorite. Chido is still.
Chido. There you go.
Yeah, Chido's still my favorite. But the thing I keep going back to is I am impressed by the high level of chess we're seeing here today.
Yep.
No one is running away with it. Amari and Will both played 2 very high quality games. And I think it's just going to be close the rest of the day.
I'm with you. Well, speaking of the rest of the day, let's bring up the schedule and remind everybody as we get set for our interview here. We've got the results already updated in our first semifinal. Next up, starting at roughly 2 p.m. Pacific time, we'll see within a few minutes. We will have Larry Fitzgerald taking on Chidobe Awuzie to see who will meet Amari Cooper in the final at 3. But we've got 20,000 of you right now who are looking forward to hearing from the man we've been talking about, who really stole the show yesterday. Dude, let me just ask you, how are you feeling? Those games were so close. The first one got away from you. Man, you were this close. How you feeling, Will?
Obviously, looking back, man, I got to find a way to take that first game. And I knew that draw, honestly. I knew that draw was going to be huge for him in the sense, man, that saved a huge situation when he was down. He was in a tough spot. So I knew once he got down there, I didn't really think about it because obviously I'm thinking, wins or losses. How can he beat me or how could I lose? And not figuring out I can't even give him a draw situation because I need these. And so that was tough. But honestly, looking back, Amari already talked about it. Missing that spot where I trapped his queen. I knew I was in a tough spot when I put that bishop up there. And And instead of, I took his bishop with my knight instead of just moving my king over and trapping that queen. That would have been a game changer. I knew I was in, comfortable spot. Just little things, man. Little things got me, and but I missed a huge opportunity right there. Indeed, it's tough. It's frustrating.
What was your mindset when you were thinking about that? So clearly, you played knight e4 after queen h4, indirectly defending your d4 pawn. Lying this sort of like threat of trapping his queen, and bishop takes f2 comes, and you didn't calculate this. I mean, this comes as a surprise. What was your mindset when you saw bishop takes f2 on the board? And how did you sort of like think through it? And how do you think in the future, maybe you can work to improve to see those moves like king f1? Not an easy move to find.
Yeah, definitely, threw me off. Anytime you kind of get thrown in check and, you didn't really see it. And you kind of lose thought of what you were thinking before, which was the situation I had his queen in. Putting his queen in a tough spot and trapping his queen effectively. And I was one move away from finishing it off, but he made one move that, did throw me off for a bit. And I definitely thought, he's going to have to probably just take a piece with the queen or something like that. And just, at least get something for it. But when he did that, it was just like, yo, how did I miss this? Okay, I got the knight protecting it. And that's all I could not think about is I got my knight protecting it. But dog, man, I never saw it the whole time until he brought it up. So it really hurts me that I missed something completely. It wasn't like when I made the move, like, oh, I could have done that. I completely missed that one, and that just comes with, I think, playing more chess. Little things like that get away from you, and you're not, playing enough. And so, yeah, attention to detail, man. You know how it is.
Well, dude, I mean, first of all, just the level of which you break down that game, the level of self-reflection. This is why you're a strong chess player, and I'm sure you have many more rating points and BlitzChamps victories ahead. This isn't the last event we're going to do, dude, so don't worry about that. But, man, what a story you've been. You literally came in off the street. Shout out to your kid and your lady there who you left at the Minions movie, and you show up and take $15,000 home for your charity. Talk one more time. Talk one more time. And literally, you've been here for 12 hours and you got 15K, bro, right? So talk one more time just about your BlitzChamps experience, how much you're excited to support your charity, and give them one more shout out before we let you go.
Man, first of all, just obviously breaking news that I even won something. So this is huge. The Spokane Academy is going to be huge for them. I can't wait to tell them if they're not tuning in right now. But man, the experience was dope. And it makes me want to just play more chess. It's like, I definitely felt behind in, basically all games, and found a way to, make it out from behind. But, you don't want to be in those positions. And so coming into today, honestly, I was more well prepared. I was ahead in those situations today. Both times I felt like. Once I got to white, I was really excited about it. But I knew if I would have won with black, honestly, it would have been over. But yeah, to fall short, man, it always sucks, man. So, but the experience alone, man, it's dope. Catching up with Amari, Fitz, Armstead, me and Armstead were teammates, for a year, and 49ers when Shanahan and all of them came, and then obviously catching up with Larry. I mean, he's one of the greats, man, future Hall of Fame. So that's an honor. And then I never had a chance to, talk with Coop. But obviously, he's starting in the NFL. So honestly, this is a great opportunity for me to come in here and get something out of it. Huge. So yeah, we're taking something home, man. But I want the championship, baby. So that's
Well, maybe next time, man. Yeah, you were awesome. This was great. The level of chess has been incredible. You've been incredible. So thank you so much for answering the call, for being here, and can't wait to catch up with you in a future NFL event down the road.
Thank you, Danny. It's nice meeting you, John, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for, whatever put me on your heart, man. This is a huge opportunity. I really thank you for that, man. I was excited when I saw that text come in. So this is way funner than I thought it'd be, and can't wait to run it back.
Absolutely, man. I was so impressed with your play today. I gotta start doing some chess.com lessons. You're
let's go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you later, and best of luck to you.
All right.
Best of luck to Will and his future chess endeavors, and best of luck to all the players who are getting ready to compete in the chess.com Global Championship play-in phase. 32 players have been invited into the round of 64 already. Some of the biggest names in the game, legends like world champions Vishwanathan Anand, Vladimir Kramnik, so many others. But 32 will be competing in our title play-in phase against all of those who've qualified over the last several months. We cannot wait as we build up toward the live final in Toronto the first week of November. It's going to be hype and lit, as the kids say. Is that what they say? It's going to be epic. And who will qualify is the question. Tune in to our events, 5 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. as well. Go to chess.com, go.chess.com/CGC 2022 for more info. All right. Well, before we head to a break, we get our first look at the players who will be joining us on the other side. That's Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Famer. That is Chidobe Awuzie of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're getting ready to throw down here in chess.com's BlitzChamps tournament. It's our second semifinal on the other side of the break. Welcome back. Taking a look in here at Larry Fitzgerald and Chidobe Awuzie. Going to be our second semifinal matchup to see who moves on to play Amari Cooper in our first ever BlitzChamp final. I'm here alongside the one and only John Urschel, mathematician, Harvard Junior Fellow, NFL lineman. Quite the resume you got there, bro. Can I just say that?
I don't know about that. I mean, you know, I just do a little bit of math, used to do a little bit of football. Now I get to hang out with you, make some bad chess advice. So
you're too humble and you know it. But man, this has been awesome. How awesome was that match we just saw? Oh my God. I know Will went home, your friend, but Amari Cooper moving on. That was epic. And I can't wait for the next one coming up as we take a look at the schedule here.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. It was neck and neck. Both games really could have gone either way. And I think we're just going to see more very tight games for the rest of the day.
I'm with you, and I can't wait to see what happens here with Larry and Chidobe Awuzie. I feel like as I'm reading chat, we got more people maybe thinking Larry's going to get the better of this, but I don't know, Chad, if I'm misreading the tea leaves there. Now's your time. Voice your opinion. We're watching you. If you got a great comment or something funny, making fun of me, but be kind to John, we might throw you up on our featured chat. But either way, we are going to have an awesome semifinal as these two gentlemen are getting ready to play. They were talking a little bit at the break, John. Larry telling Cheeto, "Hey man, take it easy on me a little bit." I don't think.
Cheeto's laughing and smiling. Larry has his game face on. He looks like he's ready to take an exam. Cheeto's getting ready to party a little bit. So we'll see what happens. And we do have liftoff. Yep. 1E4.
1E4 from Larry Fitzgerald. Chidobe Awuzie thinking about it. What's his response going to be?
I think we're going to see. I don't know. I think we're going to see a Sicilian, right? Yesterday he played C5, like these like A6, E6, Bishop, Knight C6 type setups. I think that was a game against Amari. So we'll see if he sticks with the Sicilian.
Yeah, well, he's right now just they've really taken his time before committing to the Sicilian. Okay, sometimes you always wonder because everyone's logged.
He's committed to showing us, what is that? Is that like a calendar back there? He's committed to showing us his calendar.
Showing that he's got a date circled with destiny on that calendar is what he's doing. By the way, shout out to a purple and green combination. I love you, Barney the dinosaur.
There you go. And he's going for his typical sort of like a time and off type setup.
Yep. By the way, you're not even going to give me love for the just casual, yet as if I planned it, Barney the dinosaur reference.
Oh, I loved Barney when I was a kid.
Who didn't?
Yeah, all
the original PBS show every kid loved. All right,
Cheeto goes with H6. Okay.
H6 played to stop ideas of Knight G5. I think a lot of players, when they see the bishop, John, they get nervous about the diagonal. So even if H6 isn't necessary, it's good kind of prophylactic thinking at this level a little bit.
Right. And now Cheeto's threatening a quick D5, perhaps.
Yeah.
What do you think about this move?
I'm glad Larry didn't put the bishop on E3 because you're exactly right. D5 would have been a move that potentially could win a piece if we got a fork by the pawn advancing all the way to D4. So Larry didn't get lucky, but just smartly doesn't put the bishop there. And as we talk about Larry's smart moves, let's actually do our first check-in with Larry's bio, remind everybody of who the Hall of Famer is. If you didn't know, he's unofficially retired, though as we talked about it yesterday, he's definitely given the vibes that there's no reason other than he hasn't filed the paperwork yet because he doesn't plan to add to that 17 NFL seasons. He's a future Hall of Famer, as you know. Kyler Murray actually got involved asking why he wasn't invited to the event. We'll talk about that later in the show. We've got a tweet there, a lot of fun, because Larry's response to him was really what made that hilarious, John. I'm not sure if you saw it. And he's playing for the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did, and I also saw a little bit of chirping online. People claiming that they could beat them in chess, and then I think Larry's response was something along the lines of, "I bet this person thinks they could beat me in a race too."
Larry he really was. If you don't know the thread, at some point here, maybe one of our mods can go grab a link to that tweet thread. Please do, and go check it out. It was awesome. We've got Queen D2 here from Larry, down a little bit on the clock, but in a very good spot. Both these guys, full development and just solid chess right now.
Yeah, A3, giving the bishop somewhere to go. Okay, chooses to put the bishop on B3. And now we have an interesting position. Black goes D5, so trying to gain some space in the center of the board and on the queen side. Obviously, white's pieces are sort of aimed towards black's king side. It's going to be interesting to see how this game develops.
Yeah, good stuff from Chidobe Awuzie. You mentioned he's a big center guy. He's also a big part of the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's remind everybody of who Chidobe Awuzie is. He is their star cornerback. He had an interception that some thought might be turning the momentum of the game around in their Super Bowl battle versus the Rams. It didn't work out that way for the Bengals, but he had a huge play Plays chess with Joe Burrow regularly here on chess.com and otherwise. He doesn't lose to his teammates often, but mainly responsible for getting Joe involved in a lot of ways on chess.com. And he is competing for the Awuzie Kickstep Foundation. So Chidobe Awuzie, many people maybe think the favorite. I don't know who the favorite is. I'm kind of thinking Larry, but I know you like Chidobe. Either way, this is going to be a blast because it's still deadlocked at an even position.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still my favorite, but I have to say, I'm just impressed by how strong everyone is. Let's look at this game we've seen so far. These are high quality moves. This really does not look like two 1,000 level players.
I agree.
I think we need some updated rapid ratings.
Yeah, they will. Every game they win, they get updated. And he plays C4, which is the right idea when you have the space advantage, but premature, because if Larry calculates this well, a pawn is a pawn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ratings are of July 1, which is when we seeded the players in the event. At some point, you have to seed the players so that we can make pairings for the event. But
this is what we've been talking about a little bit. Larry plays cautiously, doesn't want to hang things, but sometimes he misses his chances.
Yeah, he could have just taken that pawn, and we saw that yesterday. For those who didn't see it, John, I think, was really right on in saying the one kind of consistent pattern to Larry's game is maybe being a little too cautious and overthinking it, because here this was a free pawn and just playing very defensive minded there with Bishop A2. He's the wide receiver against the cornerback here. He should be the one playing offense, but he was a very defensive minded wide receiver. Didn't even mind blocking when he was asked to move over. That's my man Larry, doing everything he was asked to do for the Cardinals.
Get heavy. I'm curious. The engine bar just shot up.
It's because of this move C3
for a moment there because of C3. I see.
Yeah. If Chidobe sees C3, man, that's the combo to win a piece.
No. It shot up for white, and I was wondering if it was some bishop takes H6 or what was going on.
Oh, I didn't see it shoot up for white.
Yeah. I thought it shot up for white for a moment, but before white played, I think like 95. If you go back.
Yeah, let's bring up the analysis.
I think we all missed something.
I'll wait a second.
At least I missed
the live position.
Yeah. Now it's back balanced, but if you go back a couple moves,
we're gonna wait to get that live position matched to the game here. It's still showing the last game, and so we'll give it just a second. But I didn't see Bishop takes H6. I did see that Chidobe missed his chance to
with C3.
Play C3.
Yeah, so agreed.
Yeah, it was in this position right here.
Before, right here. So I was trying to see what is the move.
You were right. It was Bishop takes H6.
No, Engine doesn't like it. What's the move? What's the idea?
Oh, I see it. It's Rook takes.
Oh, you take for.
And then Bishop takes C4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. That's a combo that hard to see when you're looking at a big center. You're not quite sure about giving up a rook for a bishop. I think that's an interesting exchange sacrifice players of this level probably don't spot quickly.
And I did not spot immediately either. Yeah, that was
so when he played 95, the table was turned and the eval bar flipped because to return the combo, Black had this move C3, which attacks the queen. White has to deal with the more important piece, and that loses the bishop on A2. So both sides traded some blunders there. Larry missed his opportunity to sacrifice the exchange and have a brilliant attack on the light squares. And then Chidobe misses his chance to play the move C3 and steal a piece in the knight there on A2. So, all right.
Whoa, how did we have a pawn on
let's
B2?
stay here with the analysis, because what happened? Yeah. After Bishop E5, Queen F4, C3 was played. Oh, man. And instead of taking on E6 and going for checkmate, which would have been a really strong idea for Larry, he gets the defensive move Bishop B3 to stop the capture and unfortunately loses the B2 pawn along the way. And that's where we stand here with Chidobe having gotten that pass pawn. What a weird game. Either player is going to look back at this if and when they analyze it, game review, whatever. They're going to see that they had their chances. But even now, this game is not over despite that pass pawn on B2.
Yeah, also, these are some tough tactics, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the exchange sack, this is not your sort of run-of-the-mill tactics. But I think it goes to show you just how much of chess it's tactics. It's seeing these ideas. It's being sharp. It's recognizing when you've got a chance.
Yeah. It's hard too, because I mean the players are we talk about it with every time we do a BlitzChamps, John, and the players have said how much this event matters to them. These guys are stars in their own world, but they're not chess stars. So when they're playing chess in front of thousands of people, I mean, Rain talked about it. Rain Wilson in BlitzChamps was like, I was so nervous. Right? I think sometimes the players get nervous and don't always see every tactic they might normally find.
Okay, and Larry is shifting gears, trying to put.
Yeah, Bishop D6 was a good move. Chidobe trades it, but what he needs to do is go get this pawn, whether Rook B1 or Queen D2. Okay, good enough. I think even Rook E2 probably worked, but any move that went and got this pawn has us right back where you see 50-50 chances for either player in this game.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm really happy to see for Larry is he's still got 7 minutes on his clock.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. The position's starting to simplify, and he's not getting under time pressure. He takes the pawn on B2. There is a pass pawn on D4, but I think White's in a great position to stop that pawn and even think about maybe trying to corral it.
Yeah, as Robert would say, is that a strength or a weakness? Robert Hess, of course. Can't spell chess without him. You've got a pass pawn, but it's also isolated, meaning it's all alone. There's nobody around to protect it. And so I'm with you. I mean, and if you missed it yesterday, everybody, Larry played a very accurate brand of chess, lost on time in a game where he was up a couple queens, lost on time in a game where he was winning up the exchange. So the chess quality being there, when you see Larry up on the clock, if you're a fan of Fitz, you're happy about that.
Yeah, and Larry definitely sees this idea, is trying to put pressure on this D4 pawn.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's looking like a little bit of a weakness. Perhaps Black needs to try to find some counterplay against the A3 pawn. Maybe is the way to go. Or push it.
But now White can double rooks. And okay, if you double rooks, Black actually has this nice move, Rook C3, defending and attacking at the same time. So very, just like the first semifinal match, John, is very accurate chess, high quality game here.
Yeah, Larry's being insistent. He wants this pawn off the board. Rook C3, great idea. And yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of simplifications here.
Rook C3 played, hitting A3. What a move there from Chido.
Yeah, we're going to see their Russian endgame technique.
We are for sure. Russian endgame technique. Dvoretsky called. Or as Ludwig would say, Dvorsky called, wants his endgame manual back. But I mean, I'm just impressed by how I know there was that moment in the middle game where we had the eval bar sliding. As long as Larry doesn't take with the queen here and allow Rook E1 check, which this is a very nerve-wracking moment if you're Larry. There's a combo on the board here, chat. By the way, we see you, chat. Keep your good comments coming. We'll feature it. We still got 10,000 of you with us. Stay with us. There's a lot of chess head here for BlitzChamps. Look at that. He plays Rook E3. Let's bring up the analysis board. I want to show that combo. If he had blundered with queen takes, Rook E1 check is a common deflection. If you take, you win the lady. And if you move the king, you take here, which is an X-ray tactic. And what that means is your pieces defend each other through the enemy piece on the file. So they defend each other precisely because they see through, like an X-ray vision, I guess Superman, you would say. So anyway, fun little tactic to show there that didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Larry spotted this idea. He's been doing his puzzle rush. So he recognizes these fundamental ideas. But queen and rook versus queen and rook, there's always some interesting chances. You know, you can get a little bit of attack on the king. So I'm going to be curious to see how Chido tries to play this.
Yep. Larry does do puzzles every day, literally by the thousands. Not every day. Can't do thousands of puzzles a day. Or could you? Actually, maybe you could. But he loves his puzzles. And right now, he didn't blunder into the tactic, but he's down on the clock, so he's got to keep pace. What's the move, John? You've got A6 to target. You've also got an idea of working on the 7th. I was just going to say, I love that idea, because if the queen leaves the 7th rank behind, here comes a combo. So good move there from Larry, I think.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not so concerned about the B4 pawn or the A6 pawn. You really want to try to find some setup where you really cover F2 with your queen and king, and you're putting 2 pieces on F7. And when you're putting 2 pieces on F7 like this,
yep,
you're really getting some pressure. You want activity, but Rook B3 defending the pawn.
Dude, just like in the first game between Will and Amari, you replace the name tags with Wesley So and Hikaru Nakamura, and this is look at this game. This is it's amazing, high quality chess here from these guys. If you missed it, Amari Cooper did move on after they drew the first game. He won the second, but it was a very close match. And this is also delivering with really high quality play from these guys. Okay, now what? I think your move King G2 is very smart to guard F2, avoid blunders.
Right. King G2, defend the pawn, free up your queen. And after that, what do you do if you're Chido? Do you start going for some complications like A5, trying to push this pawn through, or how do you play this?
Right now you stretch and say whatever you're saying. I don't know what he's saying. Yeah. He's stretching out. Is he
eating his cashews? What's going on?
I didn't. Oh, he is. He's chewing something. Cheeto's chewing something. Cheeto knows what's up. Great username. Cheeto knows.
Then he plays A5, trying to get this pawn to the A4 square and trying to make another queen.
Well, this is obviously, we hope Larry doesn't blunder into losing the rook. That's a pin to start. You can't take because you lose the rook. You have to really play B5. And then after A4, it's likely a big trade, right? Rook goes to A3. Larry panics and instead plays defensively. He's going to lose the pawn, and now he's up against it. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Cheeto doesn't take the pawn.
Okay, but this is also... Let's see.
It's good. You know the right way to defend, John? It's the same X-ray tactic we saw earlier.
But this also looks good, right? This looks good for black, I think.
Well, what I'm saying is if black plays rook C3 or rook D3, you can't take the pawn because of rook D8 check. But okay, Larry didn't find it. Right. That's why the eval bar was equal, I think, is that would have been a tactic that defended for white. But Larry doesn't see the X-ray and is now down a pawn because of it. Okay, you can play queen A2, which defends and attacks. I'm just saying there's a chance. You've done well today with the pop culture. I'm just letting you know. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that. Also, I appreciate you're giving me like repeats.
It's like a good teacher. If I want you to ace the test, I prepare you with the information throughout the whole semester.
I see. Yesterday was the lecture. Today's the quiz.
Exactly.
Yeah, for people who are just joining us today, know that Danny was teaching me some pop culture references yesterday. I was failing. I think I finished something like 2 for 10, 2 for 11.
Oh man. Unfortunately for Larry, he trades queens. I think he's generally been a little more defensive minded than offensive minded in some of these moments here. I think now this is, for those watching, this is exactly where you don't want your rook if you're following a Dvoretsky endgame manual. Any other position for the rook, like A7, you can defend the pawn and attack, preventing exactly what Cheeto's going to do, which is to bring the king in. You never want your rook in front of a passed pawn. It's literally the most useless square for such a powerful piece. And I think Larry's going to go on to lose this game.
Yeah, Cheeto's just showing great technique. And if you remember from our interview with Cheeto, what did he say?
He said he loved endgames.
The best part of his game is his endgame technique.
He did. Cheeto said he loves endgame. Chidobe is so buff, he looks like he's wearing 12 layers of t-shirts. That is true. He is a very strong human being who plays in the National Football of Leagues. FYI.
The League of National Footballs.
The League of Extraordinary National Footballers. Hikaru is plug and play wide receiver on Danny's fantasy football team. Oh man. All right, we've got a rook endgame that is Cheetos to win, and a good lesson in rook ending technique, because Larry did have lots of chances, I think, to hold on here, and unfortunately put the defensive pieces on the wrong approach. And here comes Johnny.
Cheeto knows what to do. Yeah.
Here comes the pawn. Push him, baby.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little nervous, actually. He's calculating a3, rook f7, a2, and then rook a7. So he allows it. Mm-hmm. It is still winning, but
do you think? Yeah, I mean, maybe he calculates and he sees this rook d3 idea, and he probably sees it.
He probably does. He could also, after rook a7, see that he can defend the pawn and then bring the rook down and kind of queen the old-fashioned way. But John's right. Rook a7, if it's met with rook d3 check, okay, rook d3 check and then rook a3 would have been lights out. But this is still good for Cheeto.
Yeah.
Zafraz on Twitch says those are his shoulders, talking about Cheeto's very large lumps right here are his shoulders. Oh man. Rook a4, very nice.
There you go. Okay, good technique.
This is called a bridge technique. The king and rook set up a bridge from the checks, a bridge of protection, and there's no way to stop the queen from joining the fight. So super strong chess here from Chidobe Awuzie.
Yeah, but Larry's not giving up. He's still playing, trying to push his pawn.
Unfortunately, he missed the rook hang in there, and he did. He played a great rook ending. This was not a this was not an 1100 rated endgame. This is a guy who is playing a beastly brand of chess. Yeah. So now it's up to Larry Fitzgerald to win on command with the black pieces in game 2.
Yeah. You know what I loved about this? Cheeto left the pawn on purpose.
Yeah.
No stalemate ideas.
Dude, look at that. The no hands pre-move. Dude.
Yeah. Showing off a little bit.
That was a no hands pre-move for the win. That's like a flex it if you've got it. He just pre-moved his way to a victory, everybody. And right here, after he played the move queen to c3, he leaned back, and we can see it on the chess.com timestamp. Only took 0.1 second a move and pre-moved rook b2 and queen c1. What does that say about a dude's level of chess when they've already calculated the force mate, John? This is a monster here, and I think we're likely looking at a rematch of Group A unless Larry has a miracle in the next game.
Yeah, what do you think Larry has to do? What does he have to change from this game for this next one to try to force a tiebreak? What are you thinking?
I think the answer is I'm gonna head back to the position where we first were taken by surprise. I think Larry just has to be aggressive and be confident. He's kind of taking his opponent's moves at their word. You know what I mean by that, John? Right? We say it sometimes. Our students, when we're coaching chess, we call it seeing ghosts. Right? You see a ghost that's not there, and after c4, you're sort of trusting your opponent that this was the right idea. When in reality, bishop takes c4 just won a pawn. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, to answer your question, and we're going to move on to the next game because the players are indeed ready. I've been told. Well, I think Larry just has to play confident chess. He has to play quick, John. He has to trust himself and not take his opponent's move at their word for it, and just take it.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And
so we'll see if he can do it.
Get.
I would love overtime chess. I would love a blitz playoff. Isn't it about entertaining me?
And there's c3, Cheeto's patented move. There we go.
His pawn's the only gambit. Here comes d4. I don't know that Larry knows this one. This could get ugly if Larry doesn't know what to do against this system.
Yeah, Amari had prep in this line from many, many games against Cheeto.
Yep.
They were talking about it after the game. I'm not sure if Larry is ready for the tactics that are about to come.
I I would be nervous as well if I was in Larry Fitzgerald corner, which I am, as you know. So as someone who gives him coaching and works with him whenever we can, this is not an opening we've looked at. Hashtag guilty. So I'll blame. I didn't do enough prep on this one with Larry for sure. So,
but D5 is, you know,
he's just playing principled chess.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy there playing principled chess. And people asking about his mouse earlier when they were off camera. I'm not sure if everyone saw. Larry was kind of showing that he's on a trackpad, and I wonder if there was a conversation because of that, John, about the mouse. We didn't. I didn't know, but I feel like that's what they were discussing, was something about what you were playing on. And I wonder if Chido has switched his computer today.
Well, it seems like all of Chido's technological woes have disappeared. I see no bond clouds yet. I see no pre-moves other than the nice little lawnmower mate. Yeah, so far so good.
Yep. D5, Chido thinking it through now that Larry has found the right approach.
Mm-hmm.
As a general principle note, not just for Larry, but everyone watching, and thanks for the sub there from I can't see it quite on the screen, but thank you. D5 is always a good idea against these king pawn gambits. One of the things you'll universally find, go look at any openings book against the king's gambit, against different Scotch gambits, against any of these very early on Italian gioco pianos. A universal principle, if your opponent is sacking a pawn in a king's pawn game, is to look for D5 as early as you can. So I know that's kind of a blanket piece of advice, but you'd be surprised by how much it universally applies. And so even though Larry doesn't know the theory, we haven't looked at this opening, he's played principled chess. And now look, if he finds the best move here, which I think he can actually just take F3 and take D4, and he does, he's in okay shape because of D5. There you go, John. He's playing it.
He's playing it, and he played it quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. And now what is Chido thinking about bishop takes E4?
Should be.
Maybe. Yeah.
Takes. You win the pawn with check, and then black can develop. But this is also a good move. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you going to say something there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Rookie one, maybe you play bishop E7 and get ready to castle. What would you play here? What would you think about?
Yeah, principal perspective. In a gambit, you got to get your king out of the center. One, that's why we love D5 if we're black against king's pawn gambits, because it opens up your pieces. And then usually it also helps you just get developed and get castled. So the storyline of this position should be, don't be greedy. Right as I said it, don't be greedy. Larry takes the pawn. The storyline of this position should be, don't be greedy and get the king out. Unfortunately, Larry takes a second pawn. Now we've got a lot of danger.
Yeah. Bishop E7, maybe you just have knight takes D5 on tap, unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's bring up an analysis board when we can, just to show how dangerous this particular position is for black and why we've got this. It's because after bishop E4, moves like knight takes D5 are in the air. And if you take, white can take with the bishop, and when you move the queen, no matter where you go,
nice little double check. Yeah.
Double kill. Shout out to Halo 1, last video game I was ever good at. Knight takes D5. Also, if you take on E1, you still have queen takes E4 check problems. And when the king moves, you just, like, so many attacking moves here, actually. You can develop the bishop here to things like F4. You can even go to E3. Like, this position is just very, very dangerous for black. So it's not a foregone conclusion.
And we have some moves. What happened?
He took on E4 instead of taking D5.
No, but this is also still good. The king is displaced, and only for the cost of a pawn.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. This is not as dangerous as it could have been for Larry, but still a very good position for white, because the black king is never going to be safe again.
Yeah, you develop your bishop, bring a rook to D1, say, and The queen is looking awkward. There's not a lot of good squares for black's pieces. The rook on h8 is just sitting there. The rook on a8 is still sitting there.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks really difficult to me, to my eyes.
Shout out to the discount double check from GM Hess in chat. I'm not going to go down that road, talk about Aaron Rodgers or anything there, but yeah, discount double check. That's what that would have been. Maybe when we have a double check, it can be sponsored by State Farm with the discount double check. State Farm, my DMs are open.
So Larry is thinking, what do you think Larry should play here? I was thinking about maybe something like bishop f4. What did you have in mind?
I think you highlighted black's problems well, in that the issue with the king is not even the king itself, which is no good. Red means dead if the king gets attacked, but it's that you have a disconnected army, right? Your pieces aren't coordinated when your king isn't castled. So I'm adding that context to answer your question. I think white could almost do any developing move. I think bishop e3 and bishop f4 are both interesting. And as long as white continues to bring pieces in, the problem with black's spot is that it's not just the king, it's the lack of coordination by these pieces. And so Larry has his work cut out for him. Really, the only advantage Larry has in this position is on the clock.
Yeah, and we've seen that Chido can play good moves quickly. And so I'm not so concerned about this for Chido. And I'm not sure this is really, the advantage that it looks like.
Well, he's taking his time, so that's a good thing if you're thinking about using your clock as a weapon, meaning don't rush it. He does settle. It's a good move, great move.
Yeah.
Developing your pieces, right?
Yeah, he took his time. I bet he was trying to see if there's any sort of tactic or any sort of knockout. Doesn't see anything, and is just playing simple chess. Next move is probably going to be rook d1 or rook e1.
Nerdy Jeff says, hey, Danny Wrench, go to the NFL training camp and let me analyze your moves for 2 days. So first of all, I would love to do that. That sounds like a crossover event waiting to happen. I am game. Secondly, if you're interpreting anything we're saying as negative to these players, then you're misreading the room here. We know these guys, a lot of them are actually friends, work with Larry a lot, and that's our job is to provide commentary. But anyway, John, how do you think I would do in an NFL training camp? Can we use that as a launching off question?
Yeah, the question is, what would you be doing at an NFL training camp? Are you the water boy? Are you the question is, what are you doing?
Okay, touche. You said all you needed to say with that question right back at me. By the way, NBA chess requested. NBA chess is coming your way. If you didn't know, Gordon Hayward streams chess and has a fan club here on chess.com, and we are working with Gordon and others on an NBA chess event. It's in the works. I'm just going to say that without spoiling any dates, because if you don't know, these guys are all very busy. It's kind of hard to pull these things off and get them together. Stop judging. But we are working on an NBA event. Okay. Larry trades, John.
This queen on c3 is looking better than ever. It's stopping natural development of black's king. Like, ideally, you want to try to tuck this king away somehow with some g6, king g7, but it's getting difficult.
It's a very tough position, very natural moves. There's also a threat of bishop h6, by the way. If Chido spots this at some point, I mean, just dirty girl on that diagonal. That's a dirty queen spying that rook on h8. That could be.
I guess you can go f6, but still, you don't want to open up the king like that. That's not the type of air you want.
Probably
I guess f6 you just take anyway. I completely missed that. Well,
sorry, say that.
h6. No, bishop a6 is looking like an incredibly strong move.
Well, I was going to say h6 is actually probably one of black's best moves, because if you take, you can actually take with the rook. So, that actually. Why did the eval bar slide up? What is? Oh, I see it.
Can you go queen?
Problems.
Yeah.
Queen f5 and white officially has a forced checkmate on the board with this move, queen a3 check, and a back rank problem facing Larry Fitzgerald. He played it.
Oh, he finds it. Okay.
Wow. Chidobe Awuzie. Larry's got 99 problems in this position, and a back rank is one of them. It's over.
Danny, can we just think about this game for a second? How did this got so out of hand so quickly? Chido really put some pressure on the center, and I gotta say, this is one of the interesting things about chess.
Yep.
Larry was making many, many good moves to fight against this C3 idea of Chido.
Yep.
But just that one decision not to develop and to take that pawn. And I think really Larry hasn't been in the game since.
I completely agree with you. I knew when the Ponziani was played that this was going to spell trouble. Larry sees it now with the rook on e8. It is rover. It's checkmate. Chidobe Awuzie just punched his ticket for a rematch. You know what he's screaming? He's screaming rematch against Amari Cooper right now.
This is a rematch that I want to see.
You and I both talked about it yesterday. Obviously, Larry's my boy, and I was rooting for him as much as possible, but I cannot wait to see a rematch of the trash talk that ensued yesterday. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, our wishes are fulfilled. I'm going back to what John said because he asked when this got away. Larry played a great, just principled approach with d5. This is exactly what to do. But it was the position where I said exactly what you don't want to do in a king's pawn gambit is get greedy. You want to get castled. In fact, just TM that, everybody in chat. Danny says, get castled, don't get greedy. Instead, Larry got greedy by taking on c3. That's exactly what white wants in these positions, because now the development gets out of control. It's like a train. You can't stop it, runaway tracks, and everything just blows open. The position almost plays itself from here, John. This is just so hard to be black when your king is in the center, your rooks are disconnected, and we saw the back rank checkmate, which was really part of that whole problem.
Yeah. This game, I think we really have to sort of attribute to a strong opening idea. This C3 move, this is tricky. Building a big center, gambiting this pawn for sort of quick development. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the right ideas, and if you aren't careful, you can just be lost before the game even really gets going.
Yeah. No, it's true. And again, I think that it's just a quick lesson on why is your opponent gambiting a pawn, right? They're getting something out of it. Right. And yes, there are positional gambits we think of the Queen's Gambit, long-term games. Shout out to the Netflix series. Okay. But by the way, the Queen's Gambit, really hardly even a gambit. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Wrong tangent. Your opponent is sacrificing a pawn for a reason. And it's almost often an initiative against the fact that every pawn you take, you're neglecting something that could be more important than material. So that's the way you can force yourself to remember. If you're like, what's my cue? What's my alarm clock to know when I shouldn't be greedy? It's, a king in the center on an open line. You've got to value development more than the pawn. And that's the valuable lesson that Larry learned here with this game. If he had, by the way, if we'll just show it real quick, if he had played bishop e7 instead, this game probably is very equal. Black gives back the pawn, but gets the king out of the center. And we've got some position like this where white wins the pawn back, but it's isolated. In fact, if anything, objectively, bishop f6, rook e8, the position is probably even a little bit better for black because of the pawn being isolated here. And that could have been a different rabbit hole if you took the blue pill instead of the red pill in this game, John.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to reiterate, incredibly impressed with how Larry played. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Larry is a serious chess player, and it just looks like he's getting better and better. Yep. I was impressed by how much he got better over the period of this weekend, getting better at rapid chess with this fast time control, managed his time well, still played a little too tentatively. And this second game, I mean, this happens to the best of us. I mean, anyone who plays chess, it's sort of trial by fire. I think everyone has stories of, losing games like this. I remember my very first chess tournament. I'm playing the black side, e4, e5. I'm playing against an Italian. I play knight f6. Knight g5 shows up on the board, and And I can tell you that game did not last very long for me. And
I have we've all got those stories, and it is funny because it's like a sports game in that, like we watched in the NBA playoffs this year. One team wins by 20 and looks just so dominant. How will they ever lose to this team again? And what happens in the next game, Miami, Boston? The other team wins by 20, right? So sometimes in chess and in any other game, the little things add up and it becomes a more lopsided final result than is truly indicative of the strength. And this was one of those gambits where Larry is obviously a better player than going to lose a game like this, but it got away from him because of this, the aggressive nature of the Ponziani. And shout out to Chidobe Awuzie, who moves on to the final. Let's talk about the schedule, because with Chidobe getting that 2-0 victory over the Hall of Famer, he punches his ticket to the rematch, as we've been talking about. And boy, is this a rematch that people want to see. Real quick, I know we're already licking our chops on this. Amari Cooper, Chidobe Awuzie, no more mouse lips for Chidobe, we hope. Amari bringing the heat in terms of trash talk. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're about to see some high-level chess, high-level trash talk. This was the match of the day yesterday, and it's no surprise that this is the finals.
So, unfortunately, Larry's schedule was very tight, and we appreciate him getting us in general. He's we don't want to reveal his whole schedule, but he was golfing somewhere. He's already hopping a plane back to Arizona. So he did join us. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to join us for the interview. Before we move on from Larry, let's talk about the tweet real quick if we can. Queuing up players who weren't invited to this event, queuing up that conversation. I woke up this morning to a phone call from Larry, actually, who was awesome and helping promote the event. And he was letting me know about this little tweet conversation, because Kyler Murray says, damn, is it too late for me to join? And Larry says he asked not to let you in so other people can win a few things. Your thoughts, John?
Yeah. Kyler needs to ask for round 2. When are we having BlitzChamps Part 2? I want to see Kyler playing. I want to see all these people coming back. We missed Micah this weekend. I want to see what a Penn Stater can do in this field. So I think Kyler's just this is just fuel to the fire for BlitzChamps 2.
Yeah. Well, Kyler wasn't, by the way, this event came together very fast. Of course, we would love Kyler Murray to be in it. And then I'm like taking crap from Darren Urban of like Arizona Cardinals. Everyone's like, why wouldn't you invite Kyler Murray? I'm like, hey, chill out. But there was also another player that didn't get the invite. And, you know, some people call him the GOAT. This one was a little bit more confusing as far as when I when I initially reached out to Tom, you know, he didn't get back to me. I'm going to blame him. But here's what Tom Brady had to say about not getting invited to our BlitzChamps event.
Hey, Danny. I was just going to work out before watching BlitzChamps, and I was thinking to myself, why didn't Danny ever get back to me? I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest football player of all time. I would have beat everybody in that event. And I would have been the champion. I would have put another ring on my finger, and this one would have had a queen on it. I can't believe you didn't invite me. I was sending you text messages, and I know you got them because your wife was getting them, and you didn't invite me at all. I'm going to be there next year, and I'm going to beat everybody.
Wow, you heard it here first. Tom Brady playing in Part 2. Is it Tom? Is it Arik? I don't know.
You know, a lot of people thought that it was Arik when Magnus came into the studio for the World Championship in Utah, which was not true at all. Magnus's sponsor, Masterhard, would have a very big problem with that. It was not Arik. It was Masterhard sponsored Magnus Carlsen, and that was obviously Tom Brady. Tom, I apologize, man. I've got a lot of people reaching out to me on text these days, so you know, maybe next BlitzChamps, buddy. But definitely Kyler's getting in. Definitely Kyler's getting in. All right. Well, as we get set for our next match, I want to also help everyone get set for a huge thing that's coming your way in the fall. Our college chess league is only getting bigger and more badassier. Can I say that? Badassier. It's got 50K. What? That's okay, John? Badassier?
That's okay. You just said it. So I'm
okay.
I'm
well,
here
it
for
happened, right? It happens going online. Ain't nothing you can do about it now. It's online. It's permanent. Anyway, the College Chess League is going to have $50K in prizes. The fall and spring seasons are going to be awesome. More universities than ever. I know I'm going to make a prophecy right now on this BlitzChamps show. 8,600 people on Twitch and several thousand scattered throughout. The College Chess League is a thing that you don't know about yet, but is going to be one of the biggest things we are doing in 2/3 years' time. So mark my words, circle it. Someone clip it. I'm calling it now. College Chess League will be one of the biggest things in the chess world as we continue to see it grow rapidly around universities and some of the biggest campuses get involved. The rivalries are real and the event is real, and we're super pumped about it. So things we're super pumped about, John. They continue. Amari Cooper, Chidobe Awuzie. It's the rematch everyone wants. They're already talking smack. We're going to take a very quick break because when we return, the gloves are off. We're going to find a way to listen into these guys if we can. It's the BlitzChamps final in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to BlitzChamps. We are about to have fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. It is Amari Cooper versus Chidobe Awuzie. You see him getting ready for the final. Amari yapping and apparently Chidobe flossing. Always good to have good hygiene before you play a chess match. Hello again to everybody, and thanks for being here. I'm sitting here alongside my good friend John Urschel. John, it's Bengals versus Browns, baby. It's AFC North. Your favorite matchup of the AFC North from a former Raven, right?
Yeah, exactly. Always got to tune in for Browns versus Bengals. but in all seriousness, this is a really interesting matchup. I think this is what the fans wanted to see today in the finals. Yeah. It was really exciting yesterday, not just the chess, but also the banter, also the sort of comedy. And these two guys, they know each other well. They used to play together. They've played a lot of chess against each other. They know their tendencies well. Yeah. You remember yesterday, Amari was talking a lot about the Ponziani. Yes. I don't think he's going to fall into the same trap that Larry did. So I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Yep, I do too, and I do think it's a good matchup, Browns versus Bengals. And even if you are a former Raven, it is exciting to see. Let us know who you're rooting for in chat, everybody. And speaking of who's representing those teams, Bengals and Browns, we have our finalists, and here's how they got here. A reminder of what we have had today, in case you just got here. Amari Cooper took down Will Davis in a very closely contested match, one that literally could have gone either way. Our guy who came in off the street and Will Davis was awesome and almost made it to the final. But it's Amari Cooper moving on. The rematch, because Chidobe Awuzie was able to send home the Hall of Famer, Larry Fitzgerald. Here we go with the matchup. Let me just ask you, John, of the two players competing in this rematch, who were you more impressed by on their path to get here?
That's a great question. It's tough to say. I think I was really impressed with Chido, I have to say. I mean, these were two really clean games. I mean, the only thing I can give Chido a hard time about is he blundered a pawn in the first game. Yeah. But okay, who hasn't blundered a pawn every once in a while? The way that he was dominant with white, with the Ponziani, was incredibly impressive. And with black, the way that he took the initiative and, really played quite a strong game, I think it's the more impressive path, even though Amari was the person who won Group A outright yesterday.
I agree. I think that Chidobe was dominant there. Again, I think it kind of got away from Larry in a way that different opening that could be a different type of conversation, but he got the job done. I'll say this, though. One of the funny things about that is, even though I agree with you that Chidobe was maybe more impressive to get here, sometimes the player who was on a little bit more of an edge, right, who kind of squeaked in, ends up having their practical wits about them, and that can pay off. So we've talked about that often when you see Hikaru. If you don't beat him early, you never beat him, because he's able to work out the cobwebs. And on that note, we have all the cobwebs have been left behind. It's time to see what Amari Cooper and Chidobe Awuzie bring to the table. E4 is on the board, and Chidobe is on the clock.
It's the finals. It's game one. What is Chido going to do? Are we going to see another Sicilian?
I think we will, even though he's thinking about it. If I had to guess, he doesn't go away from that opening with E4, although he might be wondering, what did Amari come up with, right? Since their match yesterday. So he could be a little nervous about that preparation. We know that Amari has a coach working with him regularly. Chido wants to be careful.
Yeah. Taking his time.
He is taking his time a lot.
Yeah. Just thinking through, there's so many first moves you could make as black. So many choices. I'm curious, Danny, if you had to rank them, how are we ranking black's first moves here?
I think the ECO says it all, right? If you go to Opening Explorer, just chess.com/openings, I think there's a reason that E5 and C5 are borderline split. You could say that E5 actually has been played more times than a Sicilian, but if you look at the modern chess, I mean, maybe that's not so much the case. But those two moves, if you just talk about the principles of the game, your opponent advances a pawn 2 squares ahead to a light square. What can't pawns do? they can't go back, which means the dark squares will be the ones that are most vulnerable. I know this is really fundamental chess philosophy, but there's a reason why that fundamental chess principle that pawns can't go back tends to govern every high-level strategy employed. So e5 and c5 are moves that attack the dark squares. That's why they're the best. g6 is actually a move that has a principle similar to attacking the dark. Oh my God, he's going double fianchetto. He's going Hikaru Nakamura with the hedgehog.
Never go double fianchetto. This is
never go double fianchetto, but he's got the hippo rolling.
He's doing it. He's doing it, and he's gone away from his this sort of Paulson Taimanov type setup, and he's going for something new. And so we'll see if this pays off for him.
He is going for something new. And for those of you tuning in who may be new, we're going to do a quick reminder of who our players are. The bios coming at you. Amari Cooper playing for the Browns in this AFC North matchup in the final of BlitzChamps against the Bengals player. He's a wide receiver and a 4-time Pro Bowler, just recently joined the team via the Dallas Cowboys. Started playing chess with the Raiders. He shared his story yesterday. Check out that interview. And at 1166 Rapid, he was the highest rated player coming in. And twist ending, he's in the final, John, competing for the Barnyard for charity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say, somehow, I didn't realize this yesterday. I think the way they played their games really says a lot about the rivalry they have and the rivalry they built over the years as teammates.
Yeah.
Playing each other on the practice field, playing each other on the chessboard. They're back to their old ways of playing extremely quickly. We've seen a lot of moves, and both of them still have more than like 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This is like a repeat of what we saw yesterday.
No, I agree. It's great thoughts on Amari there as far as the rivalry they've had. We talk about the joke that they're now in the same division, the Browns versus Bengals. It's not a joke, but they've had a rivalry on the board, everybody, long before they were in the AFC North. They played together at the Cowboys. And if you missed, again, the trash talk yesterday, it made the day. Last quick shout out here for the other players sitting across the board playing black. Chidobe Awuzie is a Bengals cornerback and was, again, the talk of the town, at least for a moment there during the Super Bowl when he had that interception against Stafford. Plays chess with Joe Burrow regularly on chess.com and in the locker room, and is competing for his own foundation, the Awuzie Kickstep Foundation. What does this mean to Chidobe? I guess, given that he lost the match yesterday in Group A, John, I think you think he's bringing in a little more of an edge to this match versus Amari than Amari is?
Absolutely. He's looking for revenge. And this is an important moment. Cheeto decides to go rook e8, putting pressure on White's king. And the question is this White king about to do a little, okay, bishop e3 and knight g4, putting more pressure on the bishop.
I really like that move from Cheeto. And I guess while we were talking about the bios, we saw that Amari stole a pawn on h6 with the bishop instead of getting castled, and that's the risk, is that now Chidobe has some compensation. I love chat saying the real question is, will Chidobe pre-move again? Good question. Pre-moving isn't the problem. It's mouse
castles long, yeah.
But this is a good position, I think, from a practical perspective, John, for Cheeto. I know he's down a pawn, and the engine likes White for good reason. But this dark square bishop is very dangerous. If he can orchestrate some sort of attack on the queen side, that bishop is an unchallenged beast on this long diagonal, and that can be very dangerous if White is not accurate.
Yeah, agreed. Although this knight can be hard to dislodge, and somehow this queen on f6 is like naturally supporting maybe ideas like rook f1. Starting to put pressure on this f7 pawn.
Ooh, g4.
Okay, and Amari goes g4, a little over-aggressive. Sacrificing the knight.
Like this.
Sacrificing the knight so that he can bring a rook to f1. It's not a blunder, it's a sacrifice.
Well, now we see the players chirping for the first time today. Let's tune in and see what they have to say there as Cheeto had a big smile.
What do I do now?
I guess they don't have anything to say. they did talk some trash there for a second.
Back to business, it seems. Back to business.
It's funny because I think we will definitely keep an eye on them, everyone. We know we want to hear what they have to say throughout. But looks like after whatever comment was made by Chido, Amari goes back into the think tank, and Chido happy to focus. He wants this rematch like nobody else.
Knight B5. Okay. Playing for some tricks.
Yeah. Playing for C7.
Yeah.
We'll keep their mics open. If they start talking, we'll listen in, everybody. Don't you stress. Nice defensive move. I felt like I just went into golf commentary as he lines up and he considers the wind. You take a look at the wind factor, Bob. He's got to really think about whether he's going to go all in for the hybrid or bring the queen back for the driver.
Oh.
G5 is a good move, by the way. Stops that idea.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm curious about, let's see the setups they have. I see Amari has a nice Ali framed picture behind him.
Amari, oh, I just saw that. Very nice. Yeah, Amari
Thinking
Cooper.
Like a champion. I kind of like his setup a little bit more than Chido's, although I think still my favorite setup was Arik's from yesterday. Beautiful couch.
Agreed.
2 shrubberies on one on each side and some nice pictures.
A6 was played by Chido, by the way, a good move to free up the rook from having to guard. And I was just going to say, now that the rook isn't guarding it, you can think again about taking here, because at the end of the queen trade, there's no knight takes C7, and Chido doesn't need me to tell him.
Yeah.
Zoned in for the win and the revenge is Chidobe Awuzie right now.
Getting the ladies off the board, I really like this technique. Eventually, the knight's going to come to D7 and maybe park itself on C5 or E5, get this second rook in the game. And it's not just that Chido is up a piece. I also just like where Chido's and bishop takes C3. This move I like a lot. Yep. Knight D7 played quickly. And at least Amari's looking for counterplay, though.
Because this is maybe the last sort of, landmine that Chido could step on, if you will, is that if you take on H5 and the rook takes and these guys get doubled, this king could be in a lot of danger. So okay, 95 a very good move because you gain a tempo.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Because really, it doesn't seem like there's a great way for white to sort of deal with this king side tension.
Yeah.
If you play H6, the king just sits on H7, and F7's never really that much of a weakness.
That's true. It's dangerous when you have a pawn like that, but if the king hides and this G5 pawn eventually can be targeted perhaps by a knight,
and there's no dark squared bishop for white. Yeah. It's And king G7, I like this move.
Solid chess. He's also up a minute or two on the clock, because that's what Chidobe Awuzie would do, is be up a minute or two. Right, John?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Is that what he would do? Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Someone in chat said that Chidobe's playing from a closet. I don't think he's playing from a closet. I just think he's got a nice closet there. Whatever he's got there looks like a pretty good wardrobe.
Nice looking clothes. I see. Yeah, Chido has changed. He's changed his neck attire. He did have a nice necklace with a lone name tag.
Yeah.
In case we didn't know his name, he's now switched. And now Amari plays H6 and King H7. Nice and safe.
Yep. H6, King H7. All right. Well, remember yesterday, for those of you thinking, okay, the revenge is in hand, Chido won the first game in their match yesterday in Group A. Amari won game 2 and then on command in Blitz. So this is Chido's been here before. Even if he converts this, he's got to maintain his focus against the resourceful Amari Cooper.
All right, and Chido takes advantage of the bishop dropping back to D1 to reroute his knight. Where is it going?
Rook D4, hitting the knight. Chido should probably just reinforce it there. Keep it where it is. Play B5. He does.
Yeah, and he does. Great move.
Last thing to do is get your extra rook in the game and then go after this G pawn. After that, I think white's position starts to crumble.
Yeah. The
problem here, John, is we go back to Hikaru Nakamura's what's blunderable. It's the one thing you could think of black doing is like losing focus on the H pawn. I mean,
you really have no reason to move your king. I mean, I guess the blunderability is losing focus of the F7 square.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the problem I was thinking is that if you put pressure on the F pawn, maybe you lose the D5 pawn. So it's very hard to think of rook F4 or anything else. So this is looking more and more like Chidobe gets game one, and then we have fun. Hashtag rhyme time. Take that, chat.
There you
Take
go.
that, chat.
Yeah, if I'm playing Hope Chess, I guess I just play maybe rook F2.
Rook F2, I agree.
Yeah, this is...
I might play A4. Not like that. That's an illegal move. I might play A4 to try to hope that you take here. But I think Chido's next moves being rook E5, which double attacks the G and D pawn. Oh, man. Looking tough.
Yeah. Okay, he goes rook H1. But this is not going to help things. I wanted to at least see rook F2 to try to ask some questions. But now after rook E1 or rook E5, this is...
Ooh.
Okay.
Do they know en passant?
Yes.
For those who don't know, en passant is where you capture a pawn as if it moved one move. You can only do it on the first move it advances. I know every time some people cringe, but not a day goes by on chess.com that we don't get a support ticket where someone says his pawn moved like a ninja, fix your site. I'm not kidding. Okay, and by the way, Amari should have moved like a ninja and en passanted there. He didn't, and ultimately, this is going to make Chidobe's job even easier because things are falling apart. Okay, we got Chido's chalking there.
This is a great move. Taking more material off the board.
93. Yeah, Amari already looking a little frustrated. If you didn't see the match yesterday, Amari resigned in that game once he knew it was over. So don't be surprised. These guys have a lot of respect for each other despite the trash talk. Amari's not going to play for cheap tricks if the game's over. So we'll see. When the game's over, we'll definitely listen in and see what they have to say as soon as they start with their post-game banter, because I'm sure it'll be funny. John, by the way, you keep lifting up your T-shirt more and more. Are you trying to say something? Are you saying something about your? What are you doing over there?
No, I'm just stretching.
You're just stretching.
I'm just stretching. You know, yesterday, how many hours were we just like sitting here? I mean, with like prep before and like the whole way through. We were like, I feel like I've been sitting in this chair for like
it was a good
10 hours
plus.
Yesterday.
It's 10 plus, and the production team who's crushing it for the whole crew and the event staff was here for even longer. So it was a long day yesterday, but all right. Now we've got everything coming down to this finals matchup. And I have a feeling that even if Chido wins this one, it is not over. We're going to have, and by the way, actually it's really history repeating, John, because yesterday
exactly.
Chido
won the first game. Yeah. With black. Yeah, exactly.
You knew we completed each other's
sandwiches.
Nailed it. We did. So we were both thinking the same thing. Chido won with black, then Amari won with black. So this is just like yesterday. We'll see.
Well, we got a little banter right now, I think. They're talking about something.
Either that or Chido's talking to his kid or someone came in the room. All right, king to c1 from Amari, not thrown in the towel yet, even though he is down a full piece. And with this pawn, should be a very clean victory. We talk about blunderability. You put this bishop on a protected square. He does it. Cheeto's all over it. You own this. There's no way for Black to blunder this game.
Yeah, agreed.
Push him, baby. Okay, we got Cheeto talking.
Very, very right. Very, very right.
We're listening in on their mics. The chess players in the wild.
First guy starts rushing me. Go there. Go there. Go there. Safe. Now it's very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Couple of focused guys.
Yeah, Cheeto's taking his time. Knows he has a win here.
Yeah,
he's thinking about the right way to proceed and decides on rook e3.
Every time we keep trying to catch them because we're so entertained yesterday. We've got, a lot of entertainment with these guys as soon as they start talking. But right now they're dialed back in. So Cheeto threatening the rook on, the pawn on c3 with the rook on e3. Amari also down to 2 minutes, by the way. We haven't even been talking about that. This has been a very complete victory for Chidobe from start to finish, John. He's up on the board and up 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this also when we think back to yesterday, Cheeto did have some technical issues in both of those rapid games.
Yes.
And managed to come back in the first one. The second one, there's no coming back from losing your queen like that. But, Cheeto didn't really get a chance to fully show us what he could do in the rapid time control. And I think he's trying to make up for that right now.
John, we have a Ravens fan in chat.
We've had many Ravens fans for
I know
many.
I think he's the only Ravens fan.
The only one that's been in the chat for the whole 10 hours. We finally won.
At least there's still 3 or 4 of them out there.
Oh yeah.
Roaming the wild. All right, rook e3 after grabbing the pawn. Again, Chidobe's position is Karpovian in that every piece defending itself allows you to just push forward in a reckless manner. And we've got a Steelers fan as well, but we don't talk about Bruno around here. Push the a-pawn. That's funny. Little banter there to the Ravens fan. Derrick Henry says hello. We have checkmate on the board possible.
He's going to see it.
Chidobe could put it away right here. And, he doesn't see it. Plays rook a1 instead of rook a2 checkmate, but is still more than in the driver's seat here. And we're on path to see whether history repeats itself, everybody, from Group A. Amari completes a comeback to ultimately win the $25,000 purse that is BlitzChamps. Or does Chidobe exact his revenge on the situation? Find out.
What we will see. All right, so
very good chess here.
Okay, so Amari playing for tricks, trying to take on f7, but it's not enough.
Honestly, it's not enough, but I still think it was
it's
a nice idea to get something. It's a mating net for black, by the way. As soon as the rook checks everyone and then rook a1 is mate, Chidobe's putting this thing away, but I still think that was a creative shot, if you will, from Joe. By the way, shout out to everybody declaring their NFL allegiances. Didn't read them all out, but we appreciate it. Who knows? Maybe future BlitzChamps, we try to get representation from every team. Not sure we can do that.
Do we have any MIT engineer fans here?
Yeah, any MIT engineer fans?
Anyone repping the engineers? That's what I want to know.
Huge Harvard Junior Fellow fan here. Huge Harvard Junior fellow fan here. Oh man.
All right, they're talking again. Should we take a step back? What do you think?
I missed it. I'm sorry. They were talking.
They were talking. It's like it's like when I don't know, you see some like cute animal in the wild.
Yeah.
And then you go to like pull out your phone and take a picture, and they just stop doing that very cute thing they've been doing every time you pull out your camera.
it is like that. They're cute animals.
They're talking, they're chatting, they're doing banter, and then it's like, oh, let's go look. Silence.
And they stop talking. And that's exactly for that reason is why we're probably just going to wait for the game to end, because I'm pretty sure when the game ends, we will see the banter and we will listen in before we get set for game 2. But you're right. Every time we've tried to catch these guys yapping away, they've stopped talking. My kids are like that. Sometimes they do cute things, and then if I try to take a video, they're like, then they're not cute. They're evil, actually. I don't know if you got that problem, but my kids
my kids are absolute saints. And I see in the chat we have at least one engineer fan.
MIT fan here, Nodders. There you go.
Rise
up, Engineer
That's all
Nation.
I needed. That's all I needed.
Rise up, Amari Cooper fans. By the way, he's not making this easy. It's over the moment Cheeto can get a check and deliver the goods. There's already been a mate and 1 on the board, though. Will Cheeto see it the second time around? Again, he misses it. This idea of rookie 2 and sliding over hasn't been on his radar. He's playing the wrong check, so the game continues.
Yeah, but I'm struggling to see how he really blunders the win is the question.
I agree, but he could blunder a weird draw. I can paint the picture.
All right, paint it for me.
Want to analyze that? We'll bring up an analysis.
Let's go to the back cave.
I'll paint the picture on how Black blunders a very, very obscure draw in this game. If you do something with the rook, okay, rook h5 is going after the pawn. But if you do something with the rook that allows checks, and then after the checks continue, you panic and don't realize that you don't have to guard the pawn. This is how you have to get out now, and you have to kind of neglect the whole idea, which maybe feels a little risky. So there was a possible panic button there that could have impressed. Unfortunately, and if that had happened, it would have been a draw, but unlikely to happen. And already, as we can see, Cheeto has now taken care of all of those pawn problems. So we should really be in a clean spot here from this point forward.
Yeah. It's funny. All of a sudden we get to the finals, and that respect Amari was showing has somehow started to disappear a little bit.
Yeah.
He wants to play this out. He wants
after
every
he resigned
chance.
game 1, I think all the respect left anyway. I mean, the whole if you didn't see the clip, it wasn't even just that Amari took advantage. It wasn't even just that Amari took advantage of Cheeto clearly having technical issues with no shame. It was that if you watch the beginning of the clip, John, Amari asks Cheeto, he goes, "Where did you pre-move to next?"
Yeah.
And Cheeto goes, "I put the queen on c2." And then you watch Amari focus and figure it out. You watch Amari pre-move just to take advantage of Cheeto's mouse slip. And that was, it was cold. I'll say that. That was super cold.
It was cold. I do think Cheeto felt a little, Cheeto felt, some type of way about that. He said it was very similar to Amari grabbing his face mask, pulling him down, and then running to the end zone to catch a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I would call an accidental pre-move, necessarily.
It was awesome.
Necessarily that, but Cheeto felt very strongly about Amari's tactics there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amari responded with, "It's not like a face mask. It's like I'm running a route and you slip and you're asking me to wait for you." And anyway, let's just say the banter was real. You choose your side on that. Team Cap or Team Iron Man, right? Choose your side. Either way, Amari's going to be the one having to hope for something on his side to work out, because he's going to be once again back against the wall, has to win in the next game or he's going home, because I think Cheeto is converting this one without any problems. Yep. And with that, here we go. Let's listen in.
I had to. It was over with. I thought you was going. Oh,
crazy.
you can see it, bro. Konaka.
Hey. All right, hopefully I can win this next game.
Let me look at you.
See.
Let me look at you in your eye real quick. All right, he good. He alive still. And oh no, he didn't want to look in my eye.
They're being so
You ready
polite.
already? You don't need a water break in there?
Ready when you ready.
All right, they're ready to run it back.
Look at that. You just slammed that water there. That's a confident Chidobe Awuzie. So polite is what that was. That was not the crazy trash talk of yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chidobe took care of business.
The trash talk yesterday only started sort of like once the games were over. Once the rapid games were over, they're dialed in. They know what's at stake here, and I think we have liftoff.
And we already do. Game 2. Here we go. It's already on a roll. Moves are on the board.
There we go. The Ponziani
once again. Let's listen in. Now they're talking. A little trash talk on the opening.
Who takes that? Here we go. He has the same similar opening he had with Larry Fitzgerald, the Hall of Fame receiver, in the first round. Let's see if Amari's been doing studying, and we get the similar opening. Cheeto's trying to recollect what the hell he did last time. What did I do? What did I do? I know. I just castled last time, to be honest. I'm gonna do the same thing. They say great minds think alike, man. I guess I'm just thinking alike my other great mind that I had earlier. Chick, chick, pop, pop. Oh, it's different than what Larry Fitz did, though. Different a little bit. A little bit. Different songs. We like free. We like free. We like free. Hey, we like free. Hey, we like free. We like free. We like free. We like free. Hey, we like free.
What are you saying, bro?
Free. I got a free pawn.
It's even though.
Yeah, but it felt like it felt free. It felt free to me. Free positioning you gave me. Watch how it unfolds.
Let's see.
I think they're.
What do they say the two biggest liars are, Amari?
The two biggest liars?
Jerry Jones used to say it all the time.
I don't know, bro. You was at the Cowboys longer than me.
You heard it, bro. Two biggest liars are victory and defeat.
It's a good one.
Now, see that victory you had? Probably went to your head a little bit. It just might have. Let it, you know what I'm saying, take you to the sunset. Probably chill on the beach. Sip you some nice Diet Coke. You know you don't drink. You probably had you some lemonade. Probably worked on your brand. Talk to the homies. Oh, I killed that boy. All this now. You know what I'm saying? He probably was, well, me? Huh. I didn't let defeat tell my story. Now I didn't move. I didn't move well. I didn't move well.
That was pretty fun. Little commentary listen in.
Yeah, I think
karaoke.
Yeah, we might need to watch out. Chido could have a future commentating career.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
I mean, half of commentating on chess is knowing which song to sing when it's boring. You know, I do that all the time. Little karaoke, right?
Yeah.
You know, talking smack on the position. By the way, he has to watch out now because Amari with this Queen H4 move is bringing the pain. Cheeto said, we were listening, he said, 2 greatest liars are victory and defeat. John, your thoughts?
I mean, if Jerry Jones says it, you know, it has to be true.
I'm going to let chat unpack whether you were being sarcastic on that or not. But G3 now played. This is a very dangerous position for Cheeto, jokes aside, because the development neglect is the opposite of what you want when you play a Ponziani, right, John? You play a gambit to get a development lead.
Mm-hmm.
Amari has handled this very well. He also said 2 great minds think alike. He was saying Amari played it very similar to Larry, right? And he did. And he played the move D5 on move 5, which was huge to get this position here.
Yeah, it's an interesting position. Black has the 2 bishops pointed at White's king, active queen. But the question is, how do you really make something happen here?
Okay.
I guess the idea is you probably want to try. So, okay, White takes on E4, and if you're Black, what do you try to do here?
Best thing you can do is go all in on the light squares now, because one of the key things about having an attack or initiative is not getting married to one way to win, right? So, let's bring up the analysis board, and we'll talk about how the attack is evolving here for Black. Because what happened here was this. The queen came out to H4. You're attacking on the dark squares. When you induce a weakness, now the advantage has evolved to the light squares, right? And so the worst thing you could do if you're Black here is get married to protecting a bishop who maybe you were in love with a minute ago because of the threat of H2 and is now not relevant. The move should be something like rook to E8. And the point is the best advantage for Black is going to be on the light squares. The moment this attack gets going on the light squares is the moment White is suffering for not developing the pieces. So,
wow, this could come to fruition.
Yeah, he played F6 is a little bit of a weird move.
Yeah.
Because now you still can't play Bishop E4, which is why I wanted the rook on E8. But I was answering your question in a macro and micro. I think that rook E8 was the answer to try to do the threat. But the key point, and this is good advice for everyone watching, is when you're attacking a king, don't get married to how you deliver the checkmate. All that matters is that your attack continues to evolve and that the pressure never dissipates. And if you let the advantage evolve, then you just take what your opponent gives you and you can keep improving your position. So that's the key. Okay, Bishop G4, very good. If he can get in on the light squares, he's going to win. If not, he's down a pawn. And on that note, I think Cheeto's going to win another pawn.
Yeah, but no, this is strong finding F3, finding this idea, not sort of, not doing some sort of like a blunder. Like you could easily see, they play Bishop G4, you play something like Queen B3 to go take on B7, and then all of a sudden Bishop F3 shows up on the board.
And it's over.
But, so heads up play to play F3.
To stay analyzing, it's again, not to harp on the point, it's why rook E8 was so much better than F6, because if something like this happened and you get F3, you get Bishop G4 and F3, it's a completely different scenario now. Now you can't even go for things like this because White's falling apart. Rook E1 and Bishop F3, probably even Bishop takes F3 immediately. Yep, that works. I mean, And the point is, you're threading checkmate. You've got the e-file. So really, black missed a big opportunity in not bringing more fighting power to the center with this kind of strange f6 move that has Ben Feingold rolling over.
The players are talking again, and maybe the fans want to hear a little bit more Cheeto.
Yeah, if let's do it. Let's listen in if we can.
Bless me with this opportunity to oh, it's funny. How do we complete the attack? Let's start by going. Okay. Okay. Hold up. We're a little fast right there. I don't like that, Mark. Relax, bro. Man, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with this boy? It went on fast like that. I think you had a better move if you went rook e3. Might have been a good move. I did hush.
Rook e3.
Oh,
I see what you mean. Probably.
Just smothering me. But let's see. You know what? Just make this game simple. I don't have time for the games, man. Got to feed Babatunde? Nah. Formula? Supposed to? No. Oh, you never want to. Oh, front
stretch.
Like that idea.
It down. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
that was interesting. I mean, a lot happened while we were listening in there. Chidobe getting closer to winning our first ever BlitzChamps tournament, and also flossing along the way.
Yeah, flossing along the way.
Multitasking is real for this guy.
Giving some move advice to Amari. Commentating on moves while playing. He can do it all.
He's commentating on moves. He's flossing. He's also stretching. And right now he's winning on the board after this move d5. If the knight moves and the bishop gets out of a way, this pawn could be running up to d8 in a hurry. Well, I was saying bishop f4, John, but now that the knight is on a5, bishop to c7 and bishop b4 are maybe both even better to attack the sidelined pony over there.
Absolutely. Also, probably just b4 might just be good enough as well. And he goes for bishop b4.
Look at this move, man.
Yeah.
He's all over it. Bishop b4.
Trade the knight off and just start pushing that pawn.
He can take the knight, and then, I mean, if he wants to be super accurate, king f2 is a waiting intermezzo to attack the rook. Oh, wow. And defend the pawn. I don't think we're seeing a repeat of yesterday right now. I think we're seeing an Amari Cooper unfortunate defeat, even though he did defeat Chidobe yesterday. Wait, what is that move? Does that
Although he does allow knight takes b3, you probably should have taken on a5 first before playing c4.
That was a huge moment.
But the bishop still defends the knight. Everything is still defended.
Yeah, but now bishop takes f3 is a threat because the knight is pinned to the rook. Like, forget what the computer... Okay, wow, he found king e2. I was going to say, like, if you don't find king e2 now to defend the rook and free the knight, that position actually could have gotten away. Despite what the eval bar was saying, like, king e2 was a borderline only move to keep the advantage for white. It's a huge move by Chido. And he knows it. Chido knows. Talking smack nonstop. Amari, once again, not only works on the position, John, but down on the clock. And Chidobe Awuzie, it's not over, but we did kind of call it. We said that match got away from him. There were some mouse slips, call them technical difficulties, right? But this guy seems to be the strongest player in the NFL. We're not crowning him Blitz champion yet, but we came in wondering and asking that question out loud: who is the best chess player in the NFL? Kyler Murray, you need to hear the call and sign up for next BlitzChamps, because it looks like right now Chidobe Awuzie is the answer to that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been a very strong performance so far, and I'm curious to see how he decides to finish this one out.
If he plays bishop a3 or c3, the rook is just cut. There's nothing for the rook to do. The pawn and bishop defend each other, and here comes the d-pawn.
Yeah.
Donna's dancing on d8. Baby
G4,
girl.
nice and simple chess.
Okay, bishop d7 is key. Not over yet. Opposite code bishops. Hold the horses. Not over yet.
No.
Amari did pull off an incredible comeback yesterday.
Wow. And they're trading rooks. And we get an opposite color bishop endgame.
Perhaps I spoke too soon.
This is going to be interesting.
The one difference here is that tough. Even a draw wins for Chido.
This is true. Yeah. Yep.
So I probably spoke too soon that it was a win for Chido, but I may not have spoken too soon that the match is going to be very hard, because Amari can't just draw this game. He has to win this game, and he's opposite colored bishops here make this a very tough position for black to win. But stranger things have happened.
That's true.
Actually don't know why it's just so winning after that. It could be that I thought maybe the king could make it to d5, because I think if the king gets to d5, then you break the blockade that the bishop holds on the light squares. So he's not going for it, but I think the idea was probably to rush the king to d5 as far as how to win for white. Take c5. This is not over, but again, the reason it's over is not a tuma. It's not over. Is because of the draw being enough for Chido to get the victory. Remember, it's a 2-game match, and only if they are tied at 1 game apiece will we head to a blitz tiebreaker. And here he goes. So that was the idea earlier. Engine confirms. The problem is that as soon as the king gets to d5, it's not just that you win a piece, John, it's that you get a queen after. Oh, he still hasn't played it yet. Okay. He hasn't played king d5 yet. If he panics... Okay. This is not over. Again, it's not over.
It feels like it's over still.
It's not, especially now that the king can take.
Yeah, but how do you win? How do you win?
If you're black?
Yeah.
Well, now you've given me a chance. I have an A pawn and a G pawn. It's, again, objectively, it's winning for white, but it's been winning for white for a lot of moves. And every time you say that, it's still winning. Well, it's still winning. At some point, it's not still winning. It happens all the time. And yes, because the draw favors Chido, of course, we're still in a spot where a draw wins the match, but we're getting closer and closer to a spot where you get one pass pawn and you get another, and white now has, as we call, a blunderable game. This is blunderable to lose this position as white. I'm freaking out here. It's like, so nervous. He didn't play king d5. I mean, his chance was to just, advance and break down the blockade. But this is instructive for everyone. Opposite code bishops are very, very tricky positions because you can't ever challenge the enemy piece. I'm not saying that this is over anymore. This Chido can somehow.
I'm starting to agree with you. The bishop has to get around to cover this pawn.
Okay.
And he does. This is good.
He gets around.
Yeah.
Okay, but Amari, look at that heads up play.
But now it comes the other way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chido needs to realize that he can just give up the bishop for the pawn and go for this. This is the fastest way to draw the game, and just
he definitely sees this,
and he finds it and win the match. Amari might be going backward into the loss here.
Yeah,
let's see if Chido finds bishop f2.
Finds it.
Very nice. People don't normally clap for these guys when they play football like this. It's normally a little bit more animated than that, a little louder. But I bet he appreciates the clap for his chess game just as much, because this guy loves chess and he deserves a round of applause for his performance in BlitzChamps here.
Yeah, absolutely. But Chido still paying attention, still awake, not blundering the bishop. And it looks like it's probably going to be a win for Chido, even if it happens to be a draw still, because of his win in the first game. He's about to be Blitz champ.
Yep. As long as he doesn't blunder that bishop, he can march the 2 pawns to victory. Amari has to part ways with his bishop. Chidobe goated. Agreed town. Population Bengals fans.
All right, let's turn on their mics.
I lost.
Thanos.
Dang. GG.
GG, brother. GG.
That was tough.
Oh, man. Call me Thanos, man. Call me Thanos or Shadow, because I Shadow, but Thanos cool too. Yeah, Doug.
All right, let me get ready for this interview.
Konaka. Mommy, nam, bianga. Nam, bianga. We did win for some money, oh. We did win a go.
Right as we tuned in, Chido said, "Call me Thanos." Because he just, I guess he just snapped away Amari Cooper's chess dreams right there.
Yeah, he's snapped a lot of players out of existence this weekend, and it's just an impressive performance.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the only moment where it got hairy was in this spot where right here when Amari had an opportunity to maybe convert the attack to a light squared initiative, and the truth is, we were touting this idea And it was probably the only real chance Black had, because after the trade and White just continues to develop, you see the absence of the rook on the e-file and how huge that was. And it was clean from there. White develops, gets the queens off the board, by the way, while we were listening in. And it was a victory, man. It was clean, straightforward. Even if it could have been a draw at some point, the truth is this was never really in doubt, and a guy that deserves a ton of credit. And currently, I mean, as far as we're concerned on chess.com, right, world's largest chess website, we are anointing Chidobe Awuzie as maybe the best chess player in the NFL, actively playing, but not including you.
I appreciate that. Although we've seen some strong chess from him. I don't know. I think I might need to work a little bit on my puzzle rush before I play Chido. He was pretty sharp this weekend.
He was super sharp. I mean, this was impressive. And let's take a look at it as we have crowned a champion. One man sits above them all, right? On wearing his golden gloves, snapping away the dreams of all the other chess players in this event from the NFL. Chidobe Awuzie is the champion of the winner's bracket and takes it cleanly, not even needing a blitz tiebreaker. He completes his revenge against the person who beat him on Saturday, John. Just what can you say? Biggest takeaway about Chidobe Awuzie and his chess performance this weekend?
I think he's just a strong chess player. He's quite a complete player. We've seen strong tactics, strong aggressive play in the Ponziani. We've seen some pretty good endgame technique. I think he's a good chess player. And I think the thing I really hope all the viewers take away from this is that, football players are multifaceted. Yes, these guys are really, really good at football, but they have other passions as well. And Chido's a serious chess player, as is Amari, as is Larry, as is Will. And it's amazing to see so many football players playing chess, getting better at chess, and just enjoying the game.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. I think that is the biggest takeaway. This was because we didn't know coming in here. I mean, we knew these guys were into chess and we've seen them playing super actively. I wasn't sure how the rapid time control would take, right? Fast time controls with a lot of pressure. But overall, I mean, the level of play in this event was fantastic. And, we'd have a champion no matter what, even if the level of play wasn't super stellar, but it really was. I mean, it delivered and crazy stuff. I can't wait for round two. Who knows when and how that will be, but we know everyone is already chomping at the bit. We talked about it earlier today. Kyler Murray wants in. I don't know who's actively in the NFL that thinks they're a stronger chess player than Chidobe Awuzie, but we've got a champion, man. We have a blitz champion.
After first blitz champ, I mean, I think we can say it. Chido, strongest active chess player in the NFL, and if anyone wants to challenge him,
let's go. Right?
Yeah, they need to tweet at chess.com.
Let's do it.
Round two going.
Let's bring up the results again. Remind you of how every match broke down today. If you just got here, it was Amari winning a very closely contested match versus Will Davis. Chidobe took down Larry. Game's closer than the score, but the Hall of Famer heads home either way. And then you've got Chidobe completing his perfect Sunday with another 2-0 victory over Amari Cooper. Again, I do want the challenge out there, right? The gauntlet. Who wants to jump into BlitzChamps next time and challenge Chidobe Awuzie, because he is the first and ever reigning Blitz champion and takes home $25,000 in cash for his charity. So that's not bad for a weekend in work, right? I'll just say pretty good stuff, and can't wait to hear what both these guys have to say as we are now joined by our two amazing competitors who made it all the way to the final. Chido, just congratulations first and foremost, man. You are the Blitz champion.
Thank you guys for having me. Beautiful experience. Yesterday it was a rough day. Technology took over. Steve Jobs took over, and I was just glad I had another chance to play my good friend here. It was a great time. Talked to Larry Fitzgerald, a great time. So really appreciate the platform.
Awesome. Well, Amari, onto you, man. I know this didn't go the way you wanted. You had a great match versus Will Davis. This one got away from you here. Your thoughts on how the weekend went. You're not the Blitz champion, but you made it to the finals. And what would you have done better next time around in a match versus your friend Chido here?
I mean, I knew it would be tough. I mean, I've been playing Cheeto for like 4 years now, so I knew it would be like a challenge, back and forth type of deal. And you know, me and Cheeto and Chess, we have different strengths and weaknesses. That's one of the things I noticed. Like he said the first day, his end game is pretty good. So usually, like when I'm playing Cheeto in the end game, it's not in my favor to have a 10-minute game. Like when we used to play at the Cowboys, we used to have unlimited time, and I knew every time I would have to take my time in the end game with him because that's one of his strengths. You know, I think mine is more tactics, maybe. So yeah, I knew it would be tough in that regard. I think the guy who comes better with their strengths usually wins the game. That's how it usually goes. So he got this one on the big stage, and just congratulations, you know.
Yeah, I gotta say, I noticed we didn't see the same trash talk this time around that we saw in the first match. Was that on purpose?
You mean like just between the two of us?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yesterday, y'all are talking.
Well, the thing about Cheeto,
pulling
like
face masks down and throwing flags.
Well, the thing about me is I don't really trash talk that much. The trash talk is always usually initiated by Cheeto. So it's usually like if he would have lost a game, if he would have lost the first game, we would have been trash talking.
No, for me, it was more so I couldn't see his face. You know, before I had like the setup where I seen his face and I seen the chess game, so I had a little urge to just get some reactions out of him. But this time I was completely all chess. But Amari knows if we play in person, like this trash talk is gonna happen. It's face to face, so it's one of those type of things.
Okay, Amari, you think after this weekend, you think we could see more NFL players competing in chess tournaments like this?
Definitely. I mean, there were other guys who wanted to play. I just think the thing about our schedules is if something isn't urgent, then it's like it kind of gets put on the back burner. So like Kyler Murray, for example, I see that he really wanted to play, and I told him he was invited to play maybe a couple months ago, but it wasn't right around the corner, so he probably just put it to the side and forgot the date. But obviously when he saw us all playing, it looked interesting, it looked fun, and he was ready to play, but it was too late. But there are definitely a lot more guys who are in the league now and guys who are retired who play. So I'm pretty sure like if we ever do this again, it'll be probably double the amount of guys.
Yeah. First, I want to say hi to everyone behind you, Cheeto. Is that family? Does everyone want to say hi? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi there. Well, congratulations again to Cheeto. Mari, I want to go back to you because, again, what you said about Kyler, we know he wants in and wanted in, and I just want to give a shout out and a thank you to you because for those who don't know, you were kind of bringing everybody together with this event for the last couple months and working with us, and so it's been awesome. And you know, I know you didn't win, but you made it to the finals. So did the BlitzChamps deliver for you in terms of what we wanted to do here? And are you excited for next year already?
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of my goals with chess. Like I have a couple goals with chess. I want to get to like at least 1,800 maybe. Blitz, not OTB. I don't know if I have the time for that, but yeah, get to like 1,800 Blitz and just make chess more mainstream. Like football is mainstream because the fans love it. And I think like more people play chess than those that play football. Like millions of people play chess around the world. So why isn't it more mainstream in terms of like pop culture and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals with chess, just to make it to where people actually enjoy watching chess and being a part of the chess community. And I think this is a great way to do that. Blitz with commentary, you know. Well, we play Rapid, but I think Blitz or Rapid is a better way for it to get more popular because it's fast, you know. I think classical, it just takes too long. I don't know if the masses would be that interested in watching chess for that long, but I think this is a great format for the masses for sure.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. It was an exciting weekend, lots of twists and turns. I got a question for both of you. After this weekend, who's the best chess player in the NFL? Can we say it's Cheeto? What do we think?
I mean, I can't take credit away from anybody or take credit away from Cheeto. I mean, he won it. He deserves to be. That's what we played for. That's the name of the tournament. Who's the best player in the NFL? So, you know, I I can't say me, even though I want to. I can't. He's the best. And whenever we do this again, I'll have another opportunity to prove myself. But gotta say Cheeto right now.
We'll have to run it back soon.
Healthy respect, brother. I know there's a lot of other NFL players that play too that would probably, be very good competition. So I can't say I'm the best, but I would say the guys that participated, everybody was good. So, and Amari, like he said, he's beaten me multitude of times. So it's not like this is something that I'm just standing. No, it's like Amari has his day. I have my day. I just happen to be my day today. So all love.
Do you know who some of the other players are that you think, would be better than you guys, active players in the NFL?
Well, you have to go Burrow is one of those guys that if you gave him a month to prepare, like I'm pretty sure he would be nice. Even when we were on the Cowboys, I'm sure Dak had talked about he played chess, or Zeke talked about they played chess. It's just these people just have to have that amount of like preparation. They may know how the pieces move, but you pair them with the coach, you pair them with the right incentives, and they'll come. So that's what it's all about.
Well, I want to say congratulations. Cheeto, you're taking $25,000 home to the Awuzie Kickstep Foundation. Amari, you're taking $22K. Not bad at all. $22,500 actually to the Barnyard. You guys deserved it. And I just want to say, Amari, that everything you just said about giving the game, a proper stage and helping it grow into pop culture. I mean, you and I are best friends, man. And I thought that was amazing. We'll definitely be clipping and shipping that on the internet because I don't think we could think of a better ambassador to talk about it. So I want to say thank you to both you guys for being here and to helping us do what we're trying to do as far as push the game into broader boundaries. And you guys are awesome. This entertained the bleep out of us. This was freaking awesome. You guys were awesome. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, one love. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for y'all's time. I know y'all spent all day yesterday and today doing this, so appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, we loved it.
It was a lot of fun from our end too. Trust me.
Bye, Cheetos fam. Bye, Amari. We appreciate you so much. And there you have it, fans.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
That is the prizes they're taking home. Like we said, it's $25K to Cheetos and his foundation. $22,500 to Amari's foundation, also awesome. And let's give a shout out to all four of the other competitors. Larry and Will taking home $15,000 to their respective charities. And then you have $11,250 for both Arik and Kayvon, who unfortunately were unable to play that consolation match, but they were awesome. And they will be back for sure in future events. So, John, what can we say? First of all, that interview and what Amari just said about growing the game of chess and what he said, more people play chess than any other game. I mean, that was like, I'm like, preach, brother. Take it away. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was great to hear, great to see. I think we got a lot of great takeaways from this weekend. I mean, before we did this event, yes, we thought it was going to go well. Yes, we thought the players were well matched, but we didn't know for sure. And I think all six players really showed up and came to play. And based off the great performances we saw this weekend, I think BlitzChamps 2 is going to be bigger, better, and who knows, we might have a player from every NFL team next time.
I knew what Amari said was true too, because we did have a lot of interest. And sometimes when people say that, you're like, yeah, whatever, right? But we knew Kyler wanted to play, right? So it was hard because you can't always get a hold of these guys. Maybe now that this first ever BlitzChamps has turned heads, it'll be easier to get on the schedule because they're busy apparently with their NFL careers, whatever, right? We get it. But I think it was awesome. And Joe Burrow, you hear him say Dak Prescott. I didn't know Dak was a chess player, so that was breaking news there. Knew of everyone else. So anyway, all right, John. Well, thank you so much for being here. You were awesome.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks to everybody who helped make this event happen. We've got a team working super hard behind the scenes and making everything come to life. Thanks to the crew, our mods as well, everybody in chat keeping this thing positive. Thanks to chat. I hope you guys are enjoying our featured chat as you play along and give us all your positive comments as we do our different shows. So there's so much more coming up and more programming like this. This was our first ever BlitzChamps tournament, and I can't wait for round 2 already. So for John Urschel, for Danny Wrench, and for everyone behind the scenes, thanks for being here, and we will see you in a future event on chess.com.
Bye.